Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online.
No
All
idea
systems
functionally what I'm doing.
Months until I'm customizing my pussy lips. I'm very excited.
For fucking the giggles.
Yo, you ain't getting any candy for it, bitch.
I have 1 round left. Just enough for myself.
Alright.
Yeah, sorry. Now talk about your coom.
You know, well, I didn't coom. You know how I said I was, poop was leaving my anus and then I'll be there?
It was coom leaving your anus?
The poop never left the anus. It was one of those, so...
Wow. So is it like still densely packed in there?
Yeah, I
And
kind
it's
of
gonna
feel it.
leave at some point.
But maybe it doesn't leave. Maybe it stays packed in there until like tomorrow. Who knows?
Yikes.
Did you at least pass some gas, relieve pressure?
Oh yeah, no. There were some gas passages.
No, okay,
But-
good. We're good then. We're probably safe.
This is the high quality content.
All come to expect.
Welcome to
No
the Camel
cooming,
Cast.
Welcome, everyone.
Now cooming comes later.
We're devoid of coom today.
Well, I wouldn't say devoid.
I'm devoid of coom.
Depending on how much I talk during some of these topics, I might be cooming during the cast.
Oh,
That would
God.
explain a lot, actually. It's the power of the mute button. This is why we have to record live again,
You think-
so
you think
no
I
one can
mute?
hide the cute coons. Are you just
No, I
you're
can't.
just really quietly?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Lovely.
It's nice to know.
Let
That-
that image sink in your head that anytime you're talking and I'm silent, I just might be staring at my computer screen, just
I'll be thinking about it.
masturbating.
I'll be thinking about that now.
Well, you can't talk normally while you're masturbating, mate?
And depends how into it I am.
Now that's
Just like
something you all got
full,
while I'm talking. Hell, maybe when I'm even running D&D, I might just be masturbating.
I don't think I could even move my hand up and down without sounding different.
Really? You can't tell right now?
Like
Yeah.
I'm very Italian.
You took a pause, like, wait, did he say he's doing it right now?
We should probably start with Weiss before this goes any further.
No, this is the
Oh
week.
no, I like this.
This is the week.
This is good.
This is how we should start everything.
I mean, everything,
cool.
everything.
Literally everything.
Welcome to the funeral.
Until our dying day. We talk about whether or not we've coomed that day.
Whether we're cooming right
whether we're
now.
cooming, yeah, at the present moment.
This is what
How our
people
shit
come.
went.
This is how people forget about the outside world.
The
Speaking,
Coomcast.
speaking of loads, it's the 25th, so tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Fuck.
You're listening
You
to
fucking
this
fuck.
in a post-Thanksgiving stupor world. Odds are, because I'm probably not going to edit this on the day of Thanksgiving. I might.
Go stuff
Whatever.
yourselves. Or go stuff somebody.
Yeah,
Whichever way gets you off.
whichever helps you coom. Which is the theme of this episode, I guess.
Are you
Okay.
guys having large? Not to get too personal. Are you guys having large family gatherings during the
No.
Not at
coronavirus?
all, actually.
I wanted
Actually,
to, and then my
we
sisters
can't- yeah.
flaked.
We canceled our plans for a large family gathering.
Nice.
I might still drive to my grandmother's and outside her window wave.
That's
Maybe
not
Corona
reassuring. That's very creepy. You're
What?
gonna be like fucking Officer Murphy in RoboCop and just drive by the house every day.
What, just go say hi to her? But, like, keep the social distance?
Yeah,
That's not creepy.
it is when you just drive by the house waving. There are these things they invented called phones, and I understand she's your grandmother and she may not have the hip new tech, but I don't know. I think it will go a long way.
Grandma doesn't necessarily do video chat. And I thought seeing someone when she's, sad about people not coming would be nice.
Send her a dick pic.
Creepy debate. Oh. All right. Well, okay. That was. I don't do that.
You said creepy
It's
debate
don't
go,
do
and it's like that's a power move.
It's definitely a power move. That's like a level 3 super.
You know what? Speaking of Thanksgiving,
Sending
does anyone eat the cranberry sauce?
Nope.
Nope.
I do not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. What happens to it
Someone
every
eats
year? Where does it
it.
go?
Whether it's a dog or someone else, someone eats it.
I guess so. All those cranberries. Could have made ocean spray, but instead,
No, I like cranberry juice, but not cranberry sauce.
yeah, it's just something about the fact that it still looks like the can it came in. Just really,
Yeah.
it's not appetizing.
That's fair.
It's not great.
If you like the cranberry sauce, please unsubscribe.
No, just leave a comment down below.
Okay, well, hold on. We need every view we can get, Anthony.
Comment down
even-
below why Anthony's wrong.
Even from these freak cranberry eaters. We need them too.
Anyway, my week.
Ooh.
How much have you coomed
Uh,
in the last week?
hmm.
And how have your shits been? And are you cooming right now?
My shits have been no, I'm not gonna say that on the podcast. They've been well. I definitely had one bathroom debacle within the week, but that's as far as I'm gonna go with that because it's Thanksgiving and people are eating their brown gravy, and I don't really want to associate anything with anything
I
else.
want to see into the parallel universe where like people listen to our podcast, and there's someone sitting at the table on Thanksgiving, or like they're stowed away in some room, like trying to get away from the family, and like they just ate or whatever, and they got their headphones on and they're listening to the podcast, and then they hear you talk about your bathroom debacle with a belly full of food.
Yeah, it wasn't great. As for the cooming, lots, I don't think I could count that high. So that's that. As for what I did is I watched a lot of mecha shit. I watched the second rebuild of Evangelion movie. If you've never heard of that, that's fine. I think it's overrated. But it was weird. So here's the weird thing. I'm not like I watched Ava and then I never watched any of the movies. And people hail it as a pinnacle of fucking everything. But I was like, yeah, it was good. That was my takeaway from it. And so I've only read and seen memes and discussions around it of like the movies. And I knew in the movies they introduced a new character, and I didn't realize how much they didn't introduce that new character. This character comes out of fucking nowhere. Literally, like, parachutes in. They have, like, an action scene to establish nothing, really. And they parachute in, and then they're, like, not seen, and then they shown up to get their ass kicked a little bit. And I remember people being very upset that she even existed, and I'm not sure why, because she had literally zero impact on the story. And I also don't know why they put her in there though, too. It's a real fucking mystery. Anyway, I also watched the first Platlabor movie, which Platlabor is a show I can't stand. It's about anime mecha cops, and it's really slapstick, and I don't like the humor. Mechs are cool, but I don't really like the humor. But then they released a couple of OVAs and movies, and for some reason they just made it into Ghost in the Shell, like it's all about like hacking plots and intrigue, and it's really cyberpunk as shit. And I highly recommend the movies because I don't know. I think it's the perfect form. Is that there's still like the silliness of the characters, but it's toned down because this like serious ass plot is going on. And if you like cyberpunk shit, you'll definitely like those movies. So big recommends there. And then I rewatched, and by rewatched I mean like I watched half of it, lost interest, and then only just now like finished it. Armored Hunter Mellowlink, which takes place in the Armored Trooper Votmos universe, which is
The what?
yeah, it's good.
It's a good.
Fuck you say?
But put
The Hootie what?
I'm
Universe?
probably pronouncing that terribly, but it's Armored Trooper like VOTOMS. Votums, I guess, instead of Votmos.
Bottom, bottoms,
Votoms.
bottom, vote,
Voot Vootoo.
Vutam.
That's the Ugandan
Vootams.
version. But yeah, that I recommend that main series just because it's a very interesting protagonist that doesn't have a personality, and every season it's just in a completely different place getting tortured, and it's very fun and very kind of weird and silly. I started to show Sean some of it. I doubt he kept up with it, but like the first season he's in Cyberpunk City, and then the second one it's just Vietnam, and it's like really weird. Anyway, I'm not even reviewing that series. So Armored Hunter Mellowlink is that if it was written coherently, because it's all about a guy. It's in the same universe, but the guy is like, he's part of a platoon. Platoon gets betrayed. They get killed to just him, and now he's on the greatest revenge quest to kill everyone who sullied their name and whatnot. And it's really good. It's fun because you know, the guys are in different situations each time. So like one becomes a bandit, so it's like he has to thwart a train heist to kill the guy and all this type of stuff. It's really fun. There's a bunch of good scenarios. Mellowlink actually has a personality, unlike Kiriko, who's the protagonist of Votoms. Though I will say that I love Kiriko because of his complete lack of personality. It's all three things that I've seen. That's it, and I recommend all of them. And that was my week. You know, bathroom
Anime.
debacle, cooming, anime, mecha specifically.
Anime.
Mech anime.
What else could a man want? I guess
Who
I'm still
next?
going crazy. Is the only other thing. I realized that
Oh no.
with
No.
with certain pieces of actual military armor, I could resemble an MS-07 Zaku 2, and so I want to buy all of that.
He's gonna make himself into a mech.
I'm gonna become the robot. It's basically a childhood dream, but made real. Is this what a furry sounds like?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You're a mech furry, mate.
Oh, no.
100%.
Oh no.
Richie, does he go on the island?
Oh, sorry, my hand's on my dick right now. What?
He's very honest about it. Now that we've had a conversation, he'll just tell us.
He heard the word furry
He's
and just his
jerking off.
hand immediately went to his dick.
Oh shit.
The Yif. Oh, Yif.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm gonna basically cosplay a robot. Do I go on the island?
No,
Okay.
no, because
So technophiles are good.
technically we have the ability to turn ourselves into robots, and like that's like a natural thing, kind of. So
That's actually
would
the
say-
very definition of not natural.
Yeah, I wouldn't say natural, but it's
Alright,
it's
well, here's the thing,
mechanical
though.
evolution as opposed to
all right,
natural.
machines only exist because humans create them. Thus, it is more natural than thinking you're a deer.
If you graft your own child to your face, that doesn't make you more human.
I don't know. I don't know if I follow the lot, but sure, let's roll with it.
Yeah, we'll just
Listen, like this
moving
could
on.
be cut out, but
No.
like,
No,
I'm
it
just-
can't. No, it
No, this
can't.
is- this is
Fuck are you
throwing
talking about? This
Yeah.
none
I
of
wanna
it.
hear your-
all I'm saying is that all right. So like my whole point of like I mean it's not even really like furries. It's more like again we've said otherkin, but like when you think you're the animal, like I am in all aspects but physical. I am a wolf. Like there's something wrong with your brain because you're not a wolf. You're biologically not.
I'm physically trying to make myself
Yeah.
a Zaku
You're
while
physically-
acknowledging I am not actually a Zaku.
Yeah, you're physically and biologically not a robot, but robots don't exist in nature unless we create them. So thus you're more real than they are. Like you get my logic?
When it day gonna
You
come
lose me right at
where
the
it
end
gets
there.
revealed- When's the day gonna come where it gets revealed that you're like the anti-furry equivalent of like a priest who's extremely homophobic, but that's just because he's extremely gay behind closed doors. it's
You want to know where my fursuit is?
Furry.
That
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
that day will come never, because that's not how it is.
Right, that's exactly what someone.
And
that I'm
you
talking
equate
about
me
said.
you equate me to a priest, but you should really be equating me to Hitler.
Quote Richard Freer.
That's exactly what someone who's hiding a fursuit in their closet would want you to think. I'm on to you. The island cover.
You have full reign of my closet, sir.
I can't be
Yeah,
gay.
I was
I'm
like,
Michael
cover.
Pence.
Exactly. The island's a cover.
You go
I
live
got,
your fantasies out on there.
I'm the name of my island in honor is
Don't say in honor.
Yeah, oof, oof.
Now, now we got it. Now we got it.
now we gotta cut some of this.
Now
just
it's
that
gotta
little. Work
Just a little
work
bit.
will set fur free. Is that what's gonna be? On that?
No.
No, nothing will make this okay.
No, it's less like I don't know. Just think of my approach as more Black Templar burn purge.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't apply to him and his fursuit.
Not because I don't have one.
Who's weak
And
as
wait a second. We've established that just having a fursuit and liking the fuck in it actually doesn't get you to the island.
Right,
Really?
which is why you're saying that, because you have
You
a
like
fursuit.
to do it.
He's already putting
are
in his
enjoying
own
fucking-
loopholes.
It's what it's been this whole time. We were blind to it.
Yeah, obviously.
Loopholes.
Well, since we've talked about your sex life this much, might as well say you're weak now, Richie.
My week.
I
Oh,
thought we were
God.
talking about wigs. I'm sorry.
My week, like all my weeks, I don't do much because I've been working. And I've been working a lot. School's coming to an end, and I've been procrastinating schoolwork. Game wise, I started replaying Dragon Age Origins. So that's been fun. I was learning how to mod the game because I want graphical mods that make the game look a little nicer. Mainly, the biggest mod I wanted was just unlock specs because I never turned this game on yet for the PC version, and all my progress is on my Xbox. So I didn't have any of the specs unlocked. So I was doing that. But that led to like some graphical mods like redesigned and like JB3 textures, just graphical shit and bug fixes. Because I guess they're like, and I had to get like a memory leak patch or something for like using the graphical mods. But yeah, that's learning how to mod that was an experience because it's not as easy as just click the Steam Workshop button.
I mean, was it actually that difficult? Because like I had said,
Honestly, now that I know how to do it and I've done it, no.
Yeah.
But learning it was like there is a very handy video. It's just this guy, Frosty is his fucking name. I don't know. But he has like a whole modding tutorial where he breaks it down, and it's actually extremely helpful.
Neat.
That's how I learned how to do it. Besides,
because I recall like I had done it. I have used Nexus for Fallout 4, and I recall it being very simple. I don't recall having to do anything like that complex, but I'd also mentioned to you that maybe that's not the case with Origins because it's older.
basically with Origins, what you have to do is you gotta I guess you don't have to, but you gotta download the mod manager, and then almost all of the mods you have to put an override package in the mod manager, and then move those files over to your override folder in like the game's like core code. And you basically just make override packages in the mod manager while moving files over to the other folders.
You're modding in more realistic fur textures, aren't you?
Obviously.
My God, the plot deepens.
It deepens.
He's making it so he could fuck in the shapeshifter forms.
Yep. You got me.
It's a cover. It's all a cover.
And then if you use multiple graphical mods, you got to get like a file compiler. That's very simple. You just download it, click it, it reads all your files. And then and then and then it just makes it into like one file that makes the game run. So it's very nice. I can't stop looking at that. It's so creepy.
Amazing.
Can't stop looking at it while he touches
Dude,
it.
it's like, yeah, my hand's on my dick right now. So,
For a reason. Like, you can't stop looking at it.
it's very disturbing. I don't feel comfortable. I gotta minimize that.
I haven't been looking at. I looked at what's left. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you can't stop
Right,
looking
you
at
couldn't
it.
look away.
No, that was something.
It was mesmerizing, one would say.
Oh, besides that, yeah, that was my week. Work, school, Dragon Age. And then obsessing over this Total War DLC. But that's nothing new when these drop, so.
Yeah,
I guess
Discord messages show
yeah.
your obsession.
Well, you're like the only one I can talk to about it.
I remember
so-
one day I don't think I was home or something. I think I ran out and I came home and I think I noticed it blowing up my phone, but I didn't really open it. And then I get home and I turn my computer on and I see you have 29 new messages from you. And I'm like, holy fuck. And then I had to read through a short story of patch note related things.
Or that's just because that's just the way I write. Instead of doing one big message, I'll write 10 tiny messages. And
Is that you?
Yeah, that was my. Oh yeah, I've been playing more Warhammer 40k combat cards on my phone.
Oh, how's that going?
Haven't spent any money yet, and actually doing pretty good. I might
Nice.
say that this game is not pay to win. I mean, you definitely can pay to win, and it helps.
It sounded like you said it was pay to win.
Yeah, you know
last
what?
2 weeks.
But now I've been playing it, and I feel like just give yourself time, and you'll get there. Are you going to be the best? Obviously not. Someone who pays will be. But you can play this game pretty effectively.
That's still
not paying
pay to win though, by definition, isn't it? If there's always someone who will be better than you because they put money into it.
Yeah, I guess.
That is still kind of pay to win.
Yes, but I am progressing at a decent rate without spending money. So,
Neato.
yep, that's me. Who next?
You or me, Rob. You or me.
Well, guess what? My week is very simple.
Cool. Go for it.
I worked 3 double shifts this week, but your boy be getting a raise because he be med certified.
Hey!
Hey.
Otherwise, I've been playing very little games this week. as you know, 3 doubles will do that to you as you just want to sleep. Setting up D&D, I got the 2 true homies done, and their sidekick sheets done for everyone to look at. As I know how much Richie loves sidekicks. He can look at how good the duck is.
Is Richie's mic like doubling everything
I
for you
think
guys?
so a little bit.
Okay.
Is it? Someone
Yep.
talk.
Hello.
Pickles.
There we go.
Pickles.
Yeah, I guess it is. Oh, maybe it's too loud.
But Richie can see how much a duck can take more than a dagger to the face.
Are you trying to spark a conversation?
Ducks and
No,
daggers.
all I said is I kind of hate the idea of sidekicks because it wasn't even like it was sidekicks, but I was talking to Rob and I'm like, you know what, we don't have enough in our games, and that's like just the ability to like, and this is just a problem with this is a problem with all games that have like quote unquote hit points, and and it's a game balance thing, and I understand why it exists, but there shouldn't be dudes just able to like just take a fucking dagger right to the fucking face. And this idea of sidekicks, like the fact that this duck now can like eat a dagger to the face is kind of silly.
Isn't it very narrative though, in terms
Yeah,
of how
like-
the person is taking the hit? Because if
Yeah,
you're like, I want
I
to
know.
stab this person, you're not, and you only do like 2 damage, then we just say he kind of avoided it and you got like a glancing hit on the guy.
Yeah, but like
know what I
that,
mean?
then like, what's the point of AC? And like, then what happens if that misses you? Like, it's like multiple layers of avoidance. And like, again, I understand. I know why it's there. It's there because it's a game and B balance. But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of immersion breaking when it's like
But-
I stab the duck in the face. Well, the duck has 200 hit points. It's
Right,
like,
but you don't get
well,
to.
fuck.
But that's my point I'm making you though, is that you don't get to say I stabbed the duck in the face. You get to say I make an attack roll. I only did such and such damage. I did not effectively stab the duck in the face. I stabbed it somewhere.
Yeah, but then
completely
how do you
different.
like role play that when like you swing a great sword and you roll your max damage with the max modifier from strength? Like it's like I don't know. Like I get it. I get it. I'm just saying.
Your example confuses me because do you kill with that damage or do you not? Because then that determines how you
Yeah,
would
like
fluff
you
it.
don't kill.
Then
Yeah.
I mean you can figure out a way to make that
Deep
work.
cuts. And I think, yeah, so if
But it's like,
if
but you like understand,
narratively-
like here, based on rolls, I narratively hit the best I can hit, and this duck somehow avoids death or damage. It's just it's a little immersion breaking.
You realize it's also a system issue, right?
Well, yes.
More of a
I,
D&D issue than anything else.
look,
Because if
I'm
we were
not
to play, like,
complaining that I can't kill health potion. I'm just saying the
you are
topic came up. Well,
that's what I'm
I'm
thinking
not-
about.
like, dude, I'm not even gonna kill health potion. I'm just gonna send him to hell. But
Well, no.
only
Firstly, no. Second, it's a system issue. Because in a game like Black Crusade or Deathwatch or Dark Heresy or wherever, where like a basic civilian is statted to have like 9 wounds or whatever, and you can very easily, with like no soak, and you can very easily do that in like a single fucking attack, then like the point that you're making kind of stands. That it's like, oh, I can stab average Joe shithead once and he dies, and the system allows for it because it's a more lethal system where someone who's not prepared for combat
We-
situations like that can
we
take
should
that damage.
also note the coup de grace rule, which has always been kind of a thing where it's like if you unequivocally stab anyone in the face, they die regardless of their number of hit points. It's just all the things you need for that to happen are not going to happen. Because I think they need to be like impaired and immobile and lose their dex bonus and unable to fight and practically
Fifth edition
unconscious.
even lists raw as a thing.
I feel like it should. Then again, I feel like 5th edition
I would
should
as-
do a lot of things that it doesn't.
also, it's like it's very. like, I mean, for us fighting monsters or NPCs, like when we get them to 0 hit points, they die. But like for like player characters, unless like the system kind of never allows for player characters just to straight up die because it's so hard. You have to like take double your wounds in damage, which you normally never do. So you'll never get an opportunity for like you see your friend fighting this demon or something, and then this demon just straight up decapitates them because the system doesn't allow for it.
Welp, these are inherent issues with D&D that some other games don't have. So really, you're just complaining about the way D&D's worked for like fucking ages.
No, really any game with health points, honestly.
No, not
Yeah.
really.
I mean,
Die.
this
a
just
fucking
came up
freaking
because
game.
like God, what was it? Yeah, we're talking about sidekicks, and I told Rob that like I can't go on an indiscriminate killing spree in his games because every shopkeeper is a level 20 NPC.
That's just what makes him a smart DM.
Yeah, A, that's what makes him a smart DM. B, that's some game ruining murder hobo talk you got going on there, boy.
Yep.
I didn't say I was going to do it.
Yeah.
I just said like so like
Heard John Malcolm.
not
I just
with,
want the option.
yeah,
I'm not going
I said
to,
not
but I
with
like
Flake,
the option.
not
That's
with
all.
Flake, but like let's say I play a rogue character and I want to steal. I have to in Rob's games always be afraid that the shopkeeper is like on par with me. Like if I get caught, I might die. Like no matter what level I am.
I can't speak to this because I haven't tried to steal from one of Rob's shopkeeper NPCs to figure out that they're like a level 20 wizard or whatever.
Yeah. One of the roughest times
can't
I
say
had is I tried locking a bunch of soldiers in a basement and then lighting the building on fire, and one of the guards in the basement just punched the door down, and I was like, oh cool, she's a level 20 NPC.
To
Which
be
actually
fair,
I believe she was a level 20 NPC.
I did warn that this was an actual like big.
She's got a
name-
name, so she's a level 20
No, I
NPC.
did say this was a big named person in the and literally one of the.
Before you roll your
believe-
dice, let me tell you, that's a bad bitch.
I
Bad
said like
idea.
this is like one of the right hands of the emperor, the big baddie. I'm gonna lock
Pretty
her in the
sure
basement.
that
like
was
that.
actually not the case.
I
Pretty
did
sure
say
you
that.
said it was captain of the guard. Which God, the city has a level 20 character guarding it. Damn.
Was it
Strong
an
guard.
important city?
It was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's my opinion. I guess this varies on setting.
What was their
Level 20
class?
characters, they're basically gods. So why are they just captain of the guard?
What class was it? Were they?
Once again,
Just fighter?
That was a monk.
Mm. Mm.
once again, a D&D specific issue though. Because you could have like a Giga Chad badass in like one of the FFG 40k games or whatever, but like you shoot that guy with a last cannon and chance of death is pretty high.
True.
Regardless. Yeah. That's just the system. That's how it works. Systems work differently.
You're right. It's such a better system. Run Black Crusade, Brandon.
No, not definitely not. Fine. Not doing this.
Hey, how's your
Maybe
Death
when
Watch
we're
game coming,
physically-
Richie?
Yeah,
My,
first of all, that.
My Death Watch game is I'm watching it be dead. That's how it's it's going. And
not
that's
a bad one.
yeah, it's I said when I first brought it up it might not happen, and it's something I want to do. It's just something I can't do right now between school and work.
Fair.
Like I was gung ho, and then like I started doing school and I started working more, and I was like, yeah, it's not happening. Like, I can't do enough.
Well, listen, I'll give you a maybe when we're all physically getting back together again. I'll be
yeah.
Crusade at some point, but I'm definitely not doing it now because I hate running games. I don't even really super enjoy playing games online in the first place. I'm just doing it out of necessity, and I definitely don't want to run one over Roll20. So maybe when we're all in a physical room, I'll think about it. But not
I was
until
excited, dude. I liked my character in your game, and I'll definitely play him again.
I was extremely excited for the adventure that I was going to run. It's literally something I'd been planning for like a couple years before that, and then the debacle happened, and I was like, and then it just kind of got away from us. And now Rona.
Yeah, then Rona. I want to play my tech man who had all the tentacles.
And I really don't want to run online, so that's not going to be.
That's fair.
So,
Well ventilated area, 6 feet apart, honor system on rolls.
Or
Or
constantly sanitize the dice if dice sharing happens.
No, or we roll, immediately take a picture, and text it to the DM.
I got a fucking alert on my phone today about Corona. Did anybody else get that?
Yeah, I got that.
I'm not referring to the state for purposes of the fact we're recording, but yes, we have received fucking Corona alerts via my fucking iPhone, as if it were an Amber Alert.
As if people
Yeah.
didn't know.
well, look at
Yeah,
the
'cause
numbers.
Thanksgiving
People
is
don't know or
No,
don't care.
that's
A lot
there
of
it
people out
is.
today. I'll tell you what.
That's the right answer, though. People
I went
don't
out today,
because
and there
it's
was
so
many
much.
people.
People are just gonna
I
wait.
mean,
for
I don't know everyone else's opinion, but as soon as I have the opportunity, I'm letting the government inject me with whatever. I don't care.
I might
dude.
have to. I might have to
Nay.
continue working.
It might be the T virus. I don't give a fuck. Put in my veins.
I mean, whatever.
Like I said, I might have to work. For me to continue working, they might require me to put that shit in my veins. So I guess I'll have to wait and see.
I
Which
bathe.
week were we on?
I
we
bathe
in Rob?
daily in hand
Yeah, we're in Rob's
sanitizer.
week.
And that was basically my week, though.
Cool. I'll do mine. Mine's pretty unexciting, except I have a McDonald's story that I hyped up to Anthony before we started
I'm
recording.
excited.
You guys want to hear my McDonald's story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So I went to McDonald's today, and I was pretty excited. For some reason, I had a hankering for chicken nuggets, and I was
Ooh.
like, "Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get some chicken nuggets and a coffee because I like McDonald's coffee quite a bit."
Like
Interesting.
You like their coffee, really?
I do. I think I like it quite a bit actually.
Okay.
So I get a coffee and I get a box of nuggets and I'm excited. And I open it, and I'm not always like a sauce user with my nuggets. I have to kind of be in the mood for like barbecue sauce or whatever. But
I'm
today,
a fan of dry nuggeting.
yeah,
And-
I'm usually a fan of dry nuggeting, but today I was like, I'm gonna sauce it up. So I used some barbecue, and I take a nugget out, and I barbecue it, and I put it in my mouth, and I start chewing it, and my first reaction is like, this is a really soft nugget. Like the breading is kind of mushy, and like the nugget itself was kind of mushy. But I didn't think anything of it because like sometimes you get chicken or whatever at McDonald's, and like sometimes it's kind of like funky, like maybe you just get like a grizzle piece of chicken or whatever,
I
and it's
hate
like
the grizzle. You just bite in and there's just like, oh, that's far more solid than this chicken should be.
yeah, it's like I get that with like the chicken, like you get that with the chicken sandwich sometimes, you get it with the nuggets sometimes. It's random, and it's not super common, but it occurs. Which is something that Wendy's has over McDonald's, is that I don't think I've ever had that experience with a Wendy's chicken sandwich or nugget ever. But anyway, so I put the nugget in my mouth and it's mushy, right? So I reach for another one. Nugget number 2 goes in the mouth. Also kind of mushy. And I'm like, that's weird.
Are you animal? Do you just pop the entire nug? You don't take a bite of your nug?
No, well, I don't remember. I think I
Wait,
bit
hang
it.
on.
No,
Are you like a
I bit
wolf
it.
who can't pop an entire nug in your mouth?
I could pop a
What's wrong with
nug. I
popping a whole
just
nug?
I prefer to not pop. I like to savor the nug. Is that so
You could
wrong?
savor a whole. You could savor a whole nug in your mouth.
No, you can't.
All right, well, let me.
It's the whole point. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I will bring
And
this
it
up
tastes
with you in a
same.
moment.
It tastes the same. It's just a longer meal.
Tell me about your salmonella,
don't-
goddammit.
Anyway, so I'm sitting at the third nugget. All right, and I'm like, 2 in a row, kind of strange. Maybe I just had 2 funky nuggets. Third nugget goes in the mouth, also kind of mushy. Now I'm concerned, right? So I dig into the box and I pull out. I start looking around for like a crispier nugget, and I find one and I eat it, and it's normal. And I'm like, oh, that's strange. So I wait till I get home. And I open up the box and I start looking at the nuggets and I rip one in half. I find another mushy one, which, by the way, most of them in the first box, because it was 2 10-piece boxes, most of them in the first box were mushy. And I rip that fucker open and I look in the light of my kitchen. And in the middle of the nugget, it's like translucent-ish and pinkish, as if it were like uncooked in the middle.
Ooh, nice.
So the moral of the story is, I believe I ate 3 somewhat raw nuggets today. And if I'm not here for the podcast next week, it's because I died of salmonella.
Oh
That's the
no.
Nice. I'm glad I called that. I'm also
Yeah, you
upset that
did.
I called that.
So that's my McDonald's story. I've
Nice.
never had that happen, but I was kind of mad
There was
because I was
one.
really looking forward to those nuggets.
I had a McDonald's story when they did those awesome burgers where it was on the dollar menu, but it was like white cheddar and then just a shit ton of sautéed onions. I can't remember what those were called. But those are, I think it was just onion cheddar burger, honestly. But that was an amazing sandwich. But this one time I got it, and oh man, those onions had been sitting for a while because
Oh no.
they were black with negative taste and
Oh.
just this chewy. It was as if they draped greasy, burnt rubber bands on top of this burger.
I was gonna
I-
say, are you sure they didn't just like overcook them?
I guess they
Just
did.
fry the absolute.
But the weird thing was that it was very clearly overcooked because I was tasting kind of like that charcoaly burn taste. But they were also just really goddamn chewy, and I don't know how it existed. It was a fugue quantum state of undercooked and overcooked that I will never understand.
Glad to know you shared a bad McDonald's experience with me.
I've also had
Except one of us has walked away with possible salmonella, and the other one did not.
it's fine.
So that's fun.
Have you you shit before the podcast, right?
I did.
How was the consistency, would you say, sir?
It was fine, but
Yeah, you're good.
it's
you're good.
probably unrelated to the raw chicken nugget though, because it was probably in there before the nuggets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but your body don't know that. If it's hitting the void button, it's hitting the void button, you know, even the
Yeah, that's a
proper
good
setup
term.
will be
I'm not feeling nauseous or anything, so like I think maybe I'm safe, but who knows? Maybe tomorrow I will have rank food poisoning or salmonella distress of my anus. But as of right now, I'm alive and I'm good, so I don't know. Maybe the nuggets won't kill me.
that's good.
Other
We
than
hope for
that, my week has honestly been pretty unexciting. I continue to mostly not play games. And when I do play games, I'm just playing Monster Hunter. So I still haven't finished Ghost Runner or Amnesia. And most of my time has actually been spent on my old PC instead of my new PC for like the last 2 weeks. Funnily enough. So that's a thing. And I haven't really watched anything either. I get in this weird place sometimes. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I get in this weird place sometimes where after I watch something that's really good and I really enjoyed it, I get in a place where like I have trouble picking up something else to watch. So I go for a little bit like without watching anything, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah,
like
makes sense.
with Blind Manor, like I finished it and I was like, wow, that was so good. And I haven't really started watching anything new for like 2 weeks because I liked that show so much. I'm like, I feel like I'm still digesting it and I haven't picked up a new show or anything. So I don't know, it's weird, but that's how I've been. So I haven't watched new shows or movies, and I haven't finished any games, and I pretty much just play Monster Hunter. And my gaming life for the foreseeable future has kind of been mapped out in a really interesting way, because there's an event going on in Iceborne right now that ends on the day of the Warhammer 2 DLC, and then the
Oh,
Warhammer
Nice.
2 DLC goes for a week, and then I get Cyberpunk. So literally, what I'm going to be playing is decided for me. I'm going to play Iceborne until the Warhammer 2 DLC comes out. Then I'm going to play that for a week, and then none of you are going to see me because Cyberpunk is going to come out. And I'm not going to be on this podcast anymore, and I'm not going to play D&D. I'm just going to be in a hole for like until I'm done with that game, and that's life. So my life is my gaming life is mapped out, and also my last week I didn't do shit. I didn't watch anything because I'm in a weird blind manor coma. I didn't play shit except for Monster Hunter. I just work on tracks on my old PC. So my new PC's been on the grand total of like 5 times in the last week, and I almost got salmonella. That's me.
Anthony,
Nice.
yes, hello.
it's
That's
your
all our weeks. We
I-
can go.
I talked about anime, my dude.
we
Where
went
were
back
you?
to talking about anime.
Rob
Rob was
did
so
not care.
interested in the fucking anime.
The wool over my eyes. Rob was the one masturbating the whole time.
I told you this. This was no wool. I said I can talk completely fine and masturbate.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, you can't listen. Noted.
No, no. The blood goes to my other head.
Yeah, you know what? Fair. And your second pair of ears. Whatever. Our first news story is Twitch is including multiplayer ads because we have to compound the cancer as hard as humanly possible. Did any of you guys read about this technology?
I think I did back when you first posted it, but I don't remember the specifics.
So essentially
works.
what it is it's a filthy lie from top to bottom because it's not even really an ad. What makes it multiplayer is everyone interacts with it. You could, I guess, say that clicking on a button makes it a game on video because there's a choice and a consequence, question mark. So it is not an ad, it's a survey that pops up. What do you think about some bullshit? People click the button, it shows the poll. This is all on whoever the fuck's stream. And then that person, for hosting this poll or being in the poll hole, is what I will refer to it. Is where you were like, yes, I would like to subject my viewers to polls. You get into the poll hole. They get some money because they have pole vaulted out of the hole. I'm torturing this fucking example, but you get what I'm saying.
So the poll. So everyone watches ad. The entire chat has ability to answer poll based on ad that they just watched, and for the amount of people who contribute to that poll, the streamer gets paid. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying to me?
Correct. And as far as I
Okay.
can tell, I don't even think there really is an ad. I think it's when there's an ad break, it's literally just a pop-up that says, you know, it's a poll. A poll pops up and it says, here's question, answer question with these 4 choices. People click. The more votes, the more bits it gets worth, and all those bits go to the person streaming. There's literally not even an ad. It's not like it's not showing you a hot plate of Applebee's and it's just like, do you like Chili's instead? It's literally.
I think it is.
Yo,
for-
what's up?
From what I'm reading, I think it's an ad because it says multiplayer ads. Unlike conventional ads, they play individually for each viewer. Multiplayer ads are shown to most viewers in the channel at the same time. After they are finished, channel owners can run a poll based on the content on the ads. So the way that's worded, it's like, yeah, you see a commercial for Hot Pockets, and then everyone gets to vote on the content of the Hot Pocket ad. There will be some question relating to the Hot Pocket ad, and depending on how many people contribute to the poll, I guess the streamer gets bits. I don't know how to feel about that.
I know how to
I
feel
feel like
about
it
it.
incentivizes. I
It's
think it incentivizes streamers to be too much of to work with it too much.
I'm gonna pull a Jim Sterling really quick, and I'm just gonna hold up air quotes, and I'm gonna say late stage capitalism, and that's basically my opinion.
It's another way to get money because now, it used to be if you wanted survey data, you'd have to hire a person and people would have to willing to do that, and usually you'd give that person, some money too, like a gift card or something. Now you're essentially paying them. Oh god, it's such a mess. I run ad block on everything, so it's not going to impact me too much.
I have ad block built into my browser. It doesn't work on Twitch.
I also
still
don't
have to
watch
see
Twitch,
ads.
so
That might be why.
I guarantee you
block
there's got to
not
be
functioning.
more specific ad blocker or something.
Twitch ad block, yeah, probably. I don't know. It's like I don't. In terms of like supporting a streamer that you're watching, especially a streamer that you don't sub to, it's kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, whatever. I'll click a button on this poll and then they'll make some money. But it's just weird.
There's something
really...
It's just secondhand simping. Come on.
Yeah, there's something really like no, it's not that. It's just that there's something really like cringy and like kind of gross to me about just like interactive ads. Like I feel like ads don't need to evolve beyond just being something that you force me to watch. You know what I mean? Hence my big air quote late stage capitalism turning into Jim Sterling for an opinion. Like it's kind of weird to me, and some about it just rubs me the wrong way. But I can't
find
really
new revenue streams somewhere.
But I mean, whatever. Streamers get more money, I guess.
No, I mean, yeah.
Assume
so the net result is the company gets more money and the streamer gets more money, and that's okay.
I had a weird moment the other day. This is kind of related to what we're talking about. I had a weird moment the other day. I was watching. There was a Tarkov tournament yesterday. Twitch Rivals, Tarkov, and I was watching Shroud because you were supposed to get drops based on the person you were watching and how many tasks their team completed. Anyway, so I'm watching Shroud, even though I love Aqua. I didn't watch Aqua because I'm like, Shroud's going to accomplish more shit, and I wasn't wrong. And I watched Shroud, and at the end, when it was over, he transitioned to playing like PUBG or something, and right before he started playing, he like went off screen, came back, had a big Hot Pockets banner on the on the bottom of the screen and held up a box of Hot Pockets.
Oh my
in his
god!
Chair. And he was like, "Let me talk to you guys about Hot Pockets," to like 30,000 viewers, by the way. And that was the moment where I was like, "Wow, I haven't seen like a big name. I don't typically watch people like Shroud. I usually watch smaller streamers like Aqua and shit like that, and like maybe Maximilian. Not that Max is small by any stretch of the imagination, but like people who don't do that. You know what I mean? And it was a very like mainstreamy kind of thing to see from a streamer. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, just seeing Shroud hold up a box of Hot Pockets next to his strange goatee and try to sell me Hot Pockets.
Yeah, that sounds like those podcast type ad breaks.
Yeah, it was literally like that.
That we will totally do, by the way.
Absolutely. Pay us money, please, for real. Fleshlight, I'll hawk that. I don't give a fuck.
A message from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid
Fleshlight,
NordVPN. All the warriors come to me.
Fleshlight.
I will go so hard on hawking
I will
your
use
shit.
a Fleshlight live on this podcast.
Cell phone video games. Cell phone
Fleshlight.
video games in my mind are still trapped, and it's like, oh, you're playing a game on your phone. What are you playing? Fucking Worm? Like the only game is Snake
Hunter.
Yeah. But I would go on and be like, it's the greatest game I've ever played. Not even phone game. Raid Shadow Legends. Are you kidding me? Come on. It's incredible.
Fleshlight Hunter Deluxe.
starring Mila Djokovic. Um, yeah, so it's a terrible thing,
Yeah,
but
Hot Pockets, I guess. I don't know.
we're gonna get. I don't know. Ads are awful. Everything used to be
Wait until you
free.
get
What
your
happened?
ads. Wait till you get your ads in Cyberpunk.
You know, to bring it back a bit to my week. It's really interesting to watch like an old cartoon and see that the runtime is like 25, 40. And it's like, oh yeah, we used to only have like 5 minutes of ads during like air show times. You didn't go to look up an episode and it was like 20 minutes and like an entire third of the airtime is just commercials. Like,
Telling you, dude, it's coming. You're gonna be playing your single player game, and then all of a sudden your game's gonna get paused and an ad's gonna play.
I mean, 2K
I mean, we've
tried
already
that. We talked about that.
Literally just talked about that.
Well, that happens. I just
last
stopped playing video games. That's that. I've seen
Yeah,
I've seen that
I
fucking episode of Dark Mirror, right? So it's not happening to me. Not me.
Listen, we talked at length about how there's an okay way to put advertisements in games, and the okay way is like Yakuza, where you're populating a world with like real shit, but you're not really shoving it in my face. You're just putting it up on like billboards and shit. Like, look, it's Boss Coffee and whatever. Like, yes, that's a real brand. I don't really mind that it's there because you're trying to like you're simultaneously selling me bullshit whilst also building like a realistic city environment around me, and it almost kind of it's like advertising that assists in immersion, which is kind of insane to say, but like that's an okay way to do it. Like that's not offensive to me. You know what I mean? There are offensive ways to advertise to me, and there are inoffensive ways to advertise to me. This Twitch ad shit is a little offensive, just mildly.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't mind if it's offensive in a way, if it's done like minimally offensive. Like if this same poll shit came up, but it wasn't, hey, everyone sit, watch this commercial, we're going to take a quiz after. If like Clippy came up in the corner, it's like, I see you're enjoying Twitch. Please select. Would you like a hot pocket? And if so, what kind? And then you click it, and multiple people are clicking this guy in the corner. Yeah, okay, that's literally the same thing, but it's not intrusive. Like, how awkward is it going to be for the streamer? Do they get tipped off that it's like, oh, I really shouldn't play anything or make any sick kills because there's a giant ad right now?
I'm assuming that the way this will work, and I didn't read anything about it in the article, but if I'm to assume that it'll work like other ads on Twitch, if you are subbed to a streamer, you don't see them. So like I use a Twitch Prime sub on like Maximilian because it's free.
Oh, shit.
And when I do that, I don't see ads. So I'm
Goddamn.
assuming that you wouldn't see these if you have a sub to a streamer.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but I would assume that you don't.
Wow.
So
What a
most
world.
streamers don't give a fuck about like not doing something cool when an ad is playing because they know anybody who's subbed. It's almost an incentive, honestly, to pay them money, like to not be
Never
interrupted
miss
by the
a
ads.
moment.
Oh, Shroud's 360 flick headshots in the Call of Duty.
Yep, basically.
Don't be interrupted by Hot Pockets.
Until Shroud breaks out his Hot Pockets. IRL.
Or fleshlights. Until Shroud's holding a fleshlight up in front of his camera and telling me how awesome fleshlights are.
He starts describing textures and suction.
It's fucking awesome, bro.
All right. I'm
And he
sick
starts
of talking.
banging it live on
Oh
stream.
God.
Shroud 360 no scope a fleshlight. He probably can.
If any man can.
The man's inhuman. If he can control his dick with a mouse, he can probably 360 no scope it. Anyway, what's our next topic?
Dick flicking.
So I stopped talking about fleshlights.
We gotta go back to the Capcom leak because
Oh yeah.
there was a neat little chart that dropped, two of them in fact, about scheduling and release dates and shit like that. And there's some cool ass shit on it, let me tell you. Oh my god. We got
What about it would you like to talk about first?
oh, there's so many. You know what? I'll talk about what I want to talk about first because I'm the only one that
Let's
wants to talk about it. Dragon Dogma 2, boy.
let's
Yes.
list some shit that's in this. So for
Yeah.
those who don't know, you could even put the image up if you want,
I
like
will.
in the podcast so people can see it. But it's like let's just list some of the crazier shit for a moment. So I got the image up here. There is this isn't really crazy, I guess, but there is a Monster Hunter 6 listed, whatever that is.
Hmm.
There is, I think that's a 6, at least the image is kind of low res.
Yeah, it's a 6.
Resident Evil Apocalypse, whatever that's supposed to be. An untitled new IP. Captain Commando is listed as a game, which is kind of interesting because for anyone who isn't aware, that's just a character that had a beat 'em up ages ago and then was a Marvel kind of mainstay up until 3, or at least he was a big deal in 2. Power Stone remake should be mentioned because there are people who would go nuts about that if it's
I'm
real.
one of those people.
A second
Another.
untitled new IP, Resident Evil Hunk, which is interesting, if real. In an attempt to legitimize the chart, there are things on here that we know about, like Monster Hunter Rise and shit like that. There's RE4 remake. So if this is real, that's a hard confirm that RE4 remake is happening. Onimusha new work. So new Onimusha game, maybe, though that's an odd title translation. As you said, Dragon's Dogma 2, kind of a big deal. Resident Evil Outbreak J, whatever that is, if that's like a new Outbreak game or something. And then Street Fighter 6, which is odd because there are like 3 different versions of Street Fighter 6 listed. And we can get into why that's strange. But those are the real interesting ones. Did I miss anything?
Rockman match. Probably missed it because Rockman is not usually said in America as his American name, Mega Man.
Yeah.
But match means it's probably a shitty phone game. And Shield, which if you don't know what Shield is, a lot of murmurs about it being Capcom's attempt to cash in on first-person shooters.
Can we talk about, for starters,
Everything.
First of all, let's discuss what's exciting about this or not exciting about this in terms of it being real, right? I think that's how we should do this. Let's discuss this as though it were real first.
Yes.
And talk about what's cool and what's not cool, and then we can discuss some of the oddities of it after that.
Well, what's cool?
So what are you
kinda
hype about in regards
is
to this
the
first?
oddities, I think. So Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm super hyped for. I've always been a big fan of Dragon's Dogma. I wish online came over to the West. Capcom's got a lot of talent. Dragon's Dogma starts slow and needs a lot of polish in areas, but it had one of the most interesting worlds. And if you can do yourself a favor and track down the concept phase of Dragon's Dogma, what they were planning was fucking nuts. And what they delivered was fucking nuts, but like on a level I couldn't even describe you. Like you were gonna be fighting on the moon and shit. It was crazy. So
I started playing Dragon's Dogma on my PC like a couple of years ago, and unfortunately I didn't get too far before something dragged me away from it. But the time that I did spend, it's always been a game that I like really want to go back and play because it was very fun. The time that I spent with it, I just kind of didn't finish it. But yeah, I can kind of share excitement with you on that. I think something that should be noted that's kind of interesting is that I believe the main combat designer, like the lead combat designer for games like Dragon's Dogma as well as DMC5 no longer works at Capcom. So that's something that should be mentioned. He now works at Square, actually, and is working on FF16, which is probably why that game plays the way that it appears to play. So I don't know. Keep that in mind, assuming Dragon's Dogma 2 is actually happening. What else is exciting about this? Power Stone?
I'm so excited about Power. It's the weirdest thing to just resurrect out of fucking nowhere. But it was a super fun little party fighter game. It was basically if you took all the edge in Final Fantasy out of Ehrgeese, like that's what it was.
I never thought of it like that.
And I always really enjoyed Power Stone. I don't know why. I just loved it. But
I mean, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that like it.
I feel like it would have to like get changed up a lot though if it were to remake, because the version it was like, I don't know, 2-party game. Like it made like people are dubious of like Super Smash Brothers status of a fighting game, and if you're dubious of that, then Power Stone will just look like, you know, what the fuck is this, if you're trying to consider it in the realm of even fighting games. And I think they could make some slight changes that could make it could go a long ass way to I don't know, being more fighting gamey and less arcadey. Not that arcadey is bad. Again, I like Smash Brothers. But when you're less arcade, when you're more arcadey than Smash Brothers, just, you know, rein it in a little bit and bring back Jack's amazing voice actor from the cartoon, please.
I think I'm not excited about Power Stone, but it's probably one of the things. Believe it or not, it's probably one of the things I'm less excited about, because I liked Power Stone as a kid, but I'm not one of those people who like still stands on that hill to this day of like wanting a pet. Like there are other things from Capcom I would prefer to get before a Power Stone game. For instance, the supposed new Onimusha game that's on this chart. If there's anything I'm super excited for, it's anything from Onimusha. That's God. Capcom in its current state and what it does with like the Resident Evil remake games and like DMC5 and shit, like just imagining a new Onimusha game and how they could do that and do it well is exciting. That's very fucking exciting.
Just RE Engine Onimusha would be nuts.
Yeah. But I also mean just like in terms of gameplay and shit, like seeing what Capcom is capable of, which once again, they lost a pretty major figure in terms of combat design. Major guy that worked on DMC5 no longer works there. So maybe using those as an example is kind of, I don't know, not the best thing to do, but it's still exciting. I like a new Onimusha game could be fucking amazing. I see no reason why it wouldn't be amazing, because Capcom's pretty much killing it in every facet other than their fighting game division. So if that's true, that's probably the thing I'm most excited about. And then there's the Resident Evil shit, which I feel like we could talk about for ages, because it's like, what the fuck is any of this shit, to be honest? Like, our Resident Evil Outbreak J, what is that? Is that an Outbreak remaster / re-release? Is that like a brand new Outbreak game? Like, what is that?
Ever since Outbreak came out, I've wanted a second Outbreak. So I don't care what it is. I'm going to buy it.
Outbreak. You know what the thing is about Outbreak though? If that is a new Outbreak or it's like a re-release of Outbreak, Outbreak was so weird for its time that I feel like it wouldn't quite be the same. You know? Depending on how they do it, because you know that if it's a brand new game with Outbreak in the title, it's not going to be like the fixed camera angle traditional Resident Evil game, completely devoid of like voice communication. You know what I mean? That like Outbreak was. That's not going to be what it is. That can't be what it is. You know what I mean? There was a certain charm to Outbreak due to the time period that it came out in, where it was like, yeah, I gotta walk around these environments with my fixed camera angles. I gotta solve puzzles with these people, and all I can fucking do is like emote to them and use these like canned voice lines to plan out these extremely complicated puzzles in some instances, like the last level and how complex that was, where you had to pair off in fucking teams of 2 and like go fucking get these items and then come back right at the end, and you had to do all of it without voice communication, and you had no fucking idea if anyone was even alive by the time you made it to the end. Like,
Yep.
you could play the whole thing and have no clue if you'd even failed because the other 2 people might be dead, and you would never know until you get to the very end and you're like, oh, we're fucked. Like, there's a charm to OG Outbreak that probably won't exist in a new one, but that is still exciting. Conceptually, it's exciting. The idea of like a multiplayer Resident Evil game is cool, as long as it's not like Resistance or whatever from RE3 Remake, and it's more of like a traditional Resident Evil experience that you just play with other people.
Yeah.
That could be very sick. I don't know how you feel about all that.
Honestly, even just like RE2 remake kind of perspective, and then you do the little things to make the characters feel unique, and then have all versions of the characters. Like, that'd be fine. Like, you don't need to do much more than that. The real question is the voice chat. I think is the biggest thing, because the lack of communication was great, and it created like a huge tension. I really don't want to be playing game and hear someone's fucking baby crying, or a vacuum cleaner, or some teenager saying the gamer word in my Resident Evil. I don't want that. I don't want to experience that. I'd rather no voice chat at all still. Even though that's going to mean there's going to be many games where you all just die because some retard can't figure out a puzzle for 8 hours, and but I mean, even the game's designed that you could still kind of do it even without it. You know what? It introduced like Dark Souls type text chat where you could only like fill in certain words. That would be the best compromise. This way, if there's an idiot,
that would be kind of cool.
I could
actually,
say, "Give me puzzle item," because
tongue butthole.
Yeah, and then you could also do fun stuff like that. Because
please tongue butthole.
Because the one in Outbreak, like, what made playing Outbreak good was that you had either played it or had the strategy guide like right next to you to know how to play it. This was in the early days of the internet, so that was not a thing. I just don't want it to turn into. I feel like if there's full voice chat, I feel like if it's like ultra modern, there's gonna be like, and don't take this personally, gentlemen, but like a MOBA mentality of, it's like, oh, retard, you pick this character and you're trying to do that puzzle. Don't you know it's
of course
optimal
there'd be like toxicity.
And I just don't want to. I also don't want to deal with that. So
I don't know. I'm like half and half on voice chat or not. No voice chat. I would be shocked if a game like Outbreak came out now and didn't have it. So I'm just kind of prepared for the reality of this, if it is true, coming out and having voice chat, because like it probably would. But in terms of gameplay, like, I still think it could be really sick to have, even if it's played, which it probably would be from like a behind the back, like RE2, RE3 remake perspective, to still play a level like that with like 3 other people and have like a very complicated mission, kind of like the last one from Outbreak, like splitting up and having to like solve tasks like that. And like, I highly doubt a game like that would come out now in the modern day and not alarm you or like alert you that someone has died, even if they're very far away from you. So maybe they could still kind of like fuck up the basic concept of OG Outbreak.
Yeah, so
but it's cool.
OG Outbreak existing and working was a miracle, and I don't think lightning could strike twice.
Dude, the tension of like I have so many memories of playing Outbreak was like one of my first online games because that was around the same time as like Monster Hunter 1 on like PS2 and like Guild Wars 1 and shit like that. So I wasn't like playing a ton of games online at that point. I want to say Outbreak was like one of the first. It wasn't the first, but it was like one of the first. Unless you count like my ancient days of playing like Warcraft 2 on like ancient BattleNet and shit like that. But like the tension of that last level, dude, in
Yeah.
Outbreak of just like you got 4 people, you can only communicate with these pre-canned voice lines and emotes, and you know that you come to a point where it's like, all right, assuming that everyone is on the same page and understands what's going on, it's like 2 of us got to go that way and 2 of us got to go this way. And we're not going to see each other for like 20 minutes. And we're not going to know if either group has succeeded or failed until we're like at the last boss. And there was something so tense about that. Like making it there with like your items and just waiting. Like, are they going to show up? Are they going to show up? Are they dead? Are they not dead? Because if I recall correctly, it was like you each had to go off and get the serum shit so that you could shoot it at the last boss to like kill him instantly or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it was like you had to wait, like both groups had to live and they had to have the fucking items to combine them at the end or you were just fucked. And like that tension of getting there and not knowing, like, are they gonna come? Are they gonna come? Are they gonna come? There's like 5 minutes left. I'm gonna die of fucking infection. Are they gonna come? Like that shit was so intense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you can nail that in
No,
the
no
same
way.
way nowadays. But it would be cool to see them try. That's what I'll give them. I'll give them a I hope they try. I hope it is real. I hope it's a new Outbreak game. And I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Got anything else exciting about this supposed leak that you want to talk about?
I would like to. Shield could be neat. I would like to see Capcom's FPS shoot man game. That could be fun. Could be awful, but it could be fun. The fuck is Resident Evil Apocalypse and Resident Evil Honk? I don't.
Yeah,
I have
know.
no idea what Resident Evil Honk is, but it already has my money because Hunk's my favorite
That's a
character.
dude. Ari Hunk could just be
Operation
a
Raccoon,
Resident Evil game that you play as Hunk.
Operation Raccoon City 2. It could be that. It could be fucking terrible.
It could just be its own. It could be ass, or it could be like its own standalone little adventure that you play, kind of like an RE2 or RE3 remake, but the main character is Hunk, and it's like control Hunk on this operation that he did for Umbrella or whatever.
And that's a fun
it's like
thing
a fully
that they could
original
do
story
for fucking free money anyway, because it's like no one played Operation Raccoon City, and everyone who did deleted it from their memory. So it's like he was in like the 2 big breaks. Everyone's creatively bankrupt. We can't come up with like a new game. So, all right, it's the first 2 games again, but from Hunk's perspective, everyone will buy that.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. The problem is everyone knows. What do you mean the first 2 games again? But from Hunk's perspective, just so I'm clear. Or are you referencing like RE2 and shit like that? Or are you literally talking about like, okay. Because like everyone, the problem with doing that though is like, I think it would have to be a wholly original story that we don't know about because his role in RE2 is quite minimal. To the point where he has a mission that you can play after you beat the game in RE2 Remake, and it's very short because we all know canonically what Hunk did in the events of RE2. He basically just helped assassinate Birkin and then made it out. And like that was it. His adventure is not that extreme. He kind of just leaves. And like RE2 Remake has you play through him like running through the sewers and shit. It's asset reuse up the ass, but like his adventure is not that intense or fleshed out.
You know what I cross my fingers for? What it actually is SCP's been pretty hot for a while, and now fucking BOWs are like werewolves and shit. So you're just fucking SCP in Resident Evil, like you're one of the ATF forces.
Your Commando Man Hunk trying to solve a BOW related incident. I mean, that's kind of like what I'm getting at, though, is just give him like an original story. You know?
Yeah.
A game with a wholly original side story that you're just playing as Hunk, solving a problem.
Yeah, go
That could be
solve
cool.
problem solver, man.
Go.
And then Resident Evil Apocalypse is like literally impossible to determine what that could be. I don't even know what
No.
that could be.
When in doubt, terrible phone game. Always keep it in the back of your mind.
It's an MMO.
Don't you guys
It's a
have
Resident
phones?
Evil MMO.
Don't you guys have phones?
Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
Out of season April Fool's joke.
Is there anything else about this leak that anyone has noticed and is excited about before I start naysaying certain aspects of it?
No, let's say
Does anyone have anything else to say?
Nathan.
Cool. So here's what's up. On one hand, there's everything we just talked about, and you know, I can sit here and I can get excited over everything I just talked about. But on the other hand, I have to look at it and ask, is it real? Like, we know that Capcom got hacked. We know that maybe this is legit and it was released as a result of that hack. But on the flip side, I got to look at it rationally and I got to point at certain things that don't make a lot of sense to me. Starting with, I mean, I can sit here and I can argue that shit like Resident Evil Hunk sounds like something someone just came up with off the top of their head to generate excitement, because that's exactly the kind of thing you would do if you were trying to fake a leak. Is like, what would people go nuts about? A Hunk-based Resident Evil game, because like everyone and their mother knows that Hunk is popular. So like that's not far-fetched to think someone would just make that up off the top of their fucking head to generate excitement.
And then it's like, let's
the
dust
other
off
thing-
some obscure classics.
Yeah, like Captain
Power
Commando,
Stone, Captain
Power
Commando,
Stone.
Onimusha.
Dragon's Dogma 2 falls into that folder a little bit for me, because it's like, well, that's more of a somewhat more niche Capcom title. It has its like rabid fan base that likes that game, and I know of that being a thing. So the idea that someone would put a Dragon's Dogma 2 sequel in here just to generate hype and excitement for a fake leak feels possible to me. It feels viable. The big one that sticks out for me is the Street Fighter stuff in the chart, because SF6, we all know it's being made. They have it in this chart as 3 separate games, which isn't insane if we were talking about old Capcom, who used to do that shit. Like, here's Street Fighter 6, and then a year later, here's Ultra Street Fighter 6, and then like 6 months after that, here's fucking Super Duper Street Fighter 6, and yada yada yada. Like, we all know they used to do that shit. They did it with 4. They did it with Marvel 3. That's not new or insane. But what is new and kind of insane about that is that they don't really do that anymore. Like, Street Fighter 5 didn't do that. It did seasons, and the additions that they came out with were basically just all the DLC bundled, and it didn't split the player base. So I have to question, why is Street Fighter 6 on here? It seems like it's someone who just has an antiquated idea of how Capcom handles things, but doesn't really understand the way that Capcom's been handling shit like Street Fighter 5. So like, there's things I can point at and be like, maybe this is bullshit.
No, yeah, that possibility. And even unlike other things where it's like there's excessive documentation, this is an Excel fucking spreadsheet, which, to be fair, even legitimately this information would be presented in an Excel spreadsheet, but it is highly suspicious. This is just a lot of Japanese in cells interlinked, and
it's a lot of things that people. It's very pessimistic of me to say this, but it's like, it's a lot of things that people want to put on here and be like, look, like, if I'm to take this, which once again, I'm not naysaying this and strictly saying that it is fake. I'm just pointing out the ways in which it might be, if it's possibly not real. But if I were someone sitting at home thinking up of how to fake a Capcom leak, everything on this is exactly what I would think of.
Now,
you know what I mean? It's like, except
only...
for 2.
Yeah.
There's 2 things missing from this. That's like, if you were faking it, I don't know why you wouldn't put it on here. And that's a new Marvel game and Dino Crisis, which are both missing. from this leak. So if it's real, that means we're just not getting those. Those games don't exist. There is no new Dino Crisis for the foreseeable future, and there's no Marvel vs. Capcom 4 being developed right now. But if it's fake for all the reasons I described, like Street Fighter 6 not really making sense with the way that it's listed, and shit like Ari Hunk being like a fever dream kind of thing that you would put on a Capcom leak.
It is weird because I don't know. It could really go both ways. Because yeah, the picks are. This was like, if this is fake, it was very well strategically picked. Where it's like, what are some people only a few people care about? What are some games that a lot of people care about? And what are some games that, you know, would be like the throwback? And then to pick some of them and not all of them, because yeah, it has Power Stone, but it could very easily have been Darkstalkers or Star
Right.
Gladiator if you want to still be fucking really obtuse and weird. It's like, okay, we got Onimusha, could have been Lost Planet, you know, there's
That's true. I didn't even think about Lost Planet, but I guess that's because I just assumed that to be dead in the ground. So it wasn't like shocking to me that it wasn't on here.
But yeah, you know what I mean,
yeah.
is that, or even, yeah, bring back
I do, yeah.
a
I
Beautiful Joe, you know?
even if you are faking it, it is oddly, some of it's oddly specific.
I want to interrupt real quick to say T-minus 2 minutes to like Walmart starts selling the PS5.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, everyone click the button. One of us will get through.
Hell yeah, I don't want one.
Oh,
So,
actually,
I'm
okay.
good.
So here's what. Anyone else with any speculation with the Capcom stuff? Because I have a related story to that.
No, I pretty much said everything I gotta say. I guess the one thing I could add is that I kind of hope, on one hand, I hope this leak is real because a new Onimusha game is sick. And I think there's a reason to be excited for stuff like Dragon's Dogma 2. What else? I mean, I'd like to know what Ari Hunk is. Like, there are things for me to be excited about in this, assuming it's real.
Yes.
On the flip, I almost kind of hope it's not real because there's no Marvel 4, because there's no Dino Crisis, and because well, mainly just those two things. Oh, and because Resident Evil 4 Remake is listed on this, and I actually don't want that. So I have reasons to both hope it's real and to hope that it's not, because I got to keep the dream alive that someone's being whipped in a basement somewhere, being forced to develop Marvel 4. I just have to hope. And that's basically my last 2 cents if nobody else has anything to add.
That's a no.
I don't know.
So, the funny thing related to that, I'm sure you guys have seen the picture of that guy that has like dozens of PS5s, yeah? And
No?
So there's
No, I haven't seen that actually.
So there's a picture of a guy where he's just like, he's a scalper, and he's basically, lol, cry these tears, bitch boys, because I'm going to be selling the digital for $900 and the disc version for $1,100. Fuck you. There's literally like 50 PlayStations in this image. Like, there's an obscene amount of PlayStation 5s. Unfortunate for him, we live in a cyberpunk dystopia, so he was doxxed, and then someone live tweeted them stealing all of his PlayStation 5s.
Wow.
But like, they found his they found his house, broke in, and stole them all. And
absolutely lovely.
And that guy's
I don't
Twitter is
condone
now
breaking
locked.
into people's homes. I do not condone breaking and entering. However, if you were ever going to do it to anybody, that is hilarious, and that's probably the guy you do it to.
Yeah, scalpers suck.
I don't condone it, though.
Like, the entire idea of just buying a lot of something to just immediately flip it for more, because you know that there's scarcity. Because of, especially, and normally that's annoying, but this is extra annoying because it's like everyone's trapped inside anyway, and it's because the air is filled with death, and it's just
That's the most
such a
metal way to describe a phantom.
it's just such a
The air is filled with
it's
death.
just a fucked up thing to do, you know. So
As I said, fuck that guy.
yeah. And you know what? If you're gonna scalp, can we? I don't like this new version of scalping where it's just retarded. It's like people got to make money. You know, that's capitalism. That's how it works. So you can argue that, you know, even what's on the shelf at Walmart is being marked up. You are getting stolen from a little bit, but like I miss when scalpers were like, all right, I bought this thing, $100 extra, and it's like, that sucks, but whatever. $100 is a good amount of money. What is with this double MSRP price jump bullshit that's been the new trend? It's like it's all over electronics, and I just fucking hate it.
Because people
So
are assholes,
insane.
man. They know that eventually the people who are scalping and selling it at a decent price will sell their shit, and then they'll be the last one with a 3080, and they can charge like $1,500 for that 3080. It's just how people are. It's how it works. There's a lot of assholes in this world, Anthony. You know, traditionally the people who scalped are kind of assholes.
This is why we should all buy guns and body armor. Anyway,
Okay.
That
right.
escalated quickly.
All right, I'm back.
the next news story is Nintendo hates rollback so much it cancels the Smash tourney.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I look forward to the time in like hypothetically 5 years from now, like this podcast explodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're up there, man. We're on the fucking iTunes like gaming podcast chart. People are listening to us, but then some guy goes back and digs through our old podcasts and they just pick up and isolate that clip of you talking about getting guns and body armor and shit, and like to defend ourselves from the assholes of the world, and then I have to do like the PR nightmare, like distance myself from all of you and be like, no, I didn't say that, man. I can't be on the podcast anymore, and then I have to like save my personal life, you know, because 5 years from now some guy picks up that quote. It's gonna be exciting.
Who cancels someone over an interest?
Someone does.
No,
no, it's not the interest. It's the conversation we were having about shooting scalpers.
No, I did not. I did not say shoot scalpers. I said you said that there are evil people in the world, and the evil people in the world.
Oh, wait a second. I'm going to take a stand here. Why is it a bad stance to say if someone breaks into my house to steal my shit and I shoot them, that you have to distance yourself from that ideology?
What the fuck? It's not even remotely what we were talking about.
No, I think so. What happened is Brandon inferred I wanted the armor and gun to go kill scalpers when it was to defend from the bad people.
The joke was we were talking about scalpers, not people breaking into our house. We were talking about scalpers, and I said it turns out people are assholes, and there's a lot of assholes, and those are the people who scalp. And then Anthony went, that's why we should buy our guns and body armor, as a joke. And then I jokingly made the connection of he's implying we shoot the evil people with the guns and the body armor, which was my joke of having to distance myself 5 years from now when someone picks up that quote. I didn't say anything about it being bad to shoot people who are breaking into your house. God damn it! Follow the plot, Richie. Come on.
Yeah, between that
he's
and
too busy.
The furious masturbation, it's very hard.
It's very distracting. I understand.
Furious masturbation.
Anyway, so Nintendo hates rollback so much it cancels the Smash tourney.
It's fucking insane, to be honest.
So a while back, actually, we talked about the what is it called? It's like Ribbit or something. There's a fucking frog involved, but whatever. It's
Slippy? Is it called like Slippy?
Yeah, Slippy.
I think it's called Slippy.
and
The
it's
frog from Star Fox?
yeah,
Yes,
that's the
I think
joke.
that may
That's the
be the-
reference.
Okay, Slippy.
So
Essentially, it's a mod for Melee that makes it so you can play with people online, and I assume it's rollback
it
based.
is rollback based
Ah.
netcode.
Okay.
Modified into Smash Brothers, and so you can't really play tournaments because of that aforementioned air filled with death. So they went online, and in order to play online without it being total ass, you need something like, hey, this nice little Slippy program. But Nintendo was like, mods bad, and banned the tournament.
That sounds like them.
Gave
It's
the tournament a cease and desist because you're modding our games. That's not how it was supposed to be played.
That sounds like them.
There was an addition to their statement, which was something along the lines of they're modding the games and they're also illegal copies of the game that they're using, like pirated copies of Melee. I don't know what they. First of all, I don't know what the fuck they're getting at with that, and I don't know why they care. It's Melee. I don't know how many copies of Melee they're still selling in this day and age. So, whatever.
I
Secondly,
guarantee you, anyone playing Melee professionally owns Melee.
yeah, that's the other thing.
That may not have
too,
been
is
the
it's like,
tournament
what's their
copy, but they own
idea-
it.
That's the thing I was gonna say next is like, what's their idea of a pirated copy? I don't know the specifics of this tournament. I'm assuming that maybe they're like emulating it, and that's what Nintendo's getting at, or something. Like maybe Slippy requires emulation, and therefore, I don't know. Like, is that what their idea of a pirated copy is? In which case, I would have to assume that the people running the tournament probably own copies of Melee. So who gives a fuck
Right.
if they are emulating it using this mod? Like, it's all fucking stupid. Not to mention the fact that like the real issue is like, why are you killing the competitive scene for like one of your most beloved fighting games of all time for literally no reason? Like, why couldn't you just let this happen? It's very strange. And also, even more strange is that this tournament's not new. Like, this tournament has been around in the past. They're just doing it online this year because of, as you put it, the death that's in the air. So, like, what the fuck? It's such an evil Empire Nintendo move to kill something like this, which we've known that they do from time to time. I think it's absurd.
They get into their fits for some reason.
Sure,
Yeah.
we all remember when Nintendo was nuking Let's Player channels and shit on YouTube, like however many years ago that was, like 5-6 years ago. Or every once in a while, Nintendo rears its ugly head and it does some stupid shit like this, and I don't really understand it, and I don't agree with it. I don't even like Melee that much, but like, it's not going to stop me from defending the fact that this is stupid. It makes no sense.
It's hyper dumb.
Like, why? What? Like, what's the evil that comes of? I really want to understand their reasoning behind it being like pirate. Like, what do they mean by they're using pirated copies and modding? And like the modding the game part is obvious, but I don't know what they're
And again,
getting at.
it's
copy.
especially because it's a tournament. Like, no one's taken this home. Can you? All right, so this brings up like a side question. If you buy a game and you own it, and then you also download like a digital, straight up, let's say pirated copy, is that still illegal? Like you, it's not like you're handing
Especially-
that to someone.
You know what? Here's where it gets really fucked up. Okay. Do you want to talk about you really want to like drive that point home that you just made? Let's put a little addition to it. They're downloading a copy of the game on a platform that the company that owns the game does not offer it on themselves. There is no PC version. Like if they're emulating it or whatever, there's no such thing as Melee outside of maybe it's on like, did they put it on like the when the Wii had the fucking like I know there was like older Nintendo games that they sold on the Wii's online marketplace, and I don't know if they still do that with Switch. So like maybe Melee is on there, but like assuming this
I don't think
mod
so.
requires okay, so if it's not, then like assuming this, and even then, assuming this mod requires like PC emulation or whatever, the game's not offered in that way, shape, or form. So why nuke people's fucking tournament out of existence just because they're, need to run the game in a fashion that you don't allow them to run it in the first place? It doesn't make any sense. Not to mention how fucked up of a message it is to basically send a bomb out in the fucking air, a tactical fucking nuke straight to the fan base for one of
Yeah.
your games and just go, nah, fuck you though. Like, what are you
We
doing?
gave you Steve from Minecraft. You shall not get anything else.
It's such a strange move, and it's Nintendo. I don't know what else to say.
Nintendo does weird shit from time to time.
Nintendo disrespects the people who give them money on a semi-consistent basis. I guess this is nothing new.
Yeah, what the fuck, Nintendo? Keep being quiet and making unlimited money.
Didn't they recently say fuck? I remember seeing it on the I remember seeing Wooly and Pat talk about it, I think, in like a Castle Super Beast clip of like they put out a digital version of Super Mario 64 recently, like within like the last 2 months, but it was only available for purchase for like a month or
Yes,
something, and
yes.
then they just took it down.
Yep.
Like, what
And-
the fuck is going on?
And the
at
best thing is
Nintendo?
that they were just ROMs running on an emulator too.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good port. It was like what the fuck? And then you get mad at people for doing shit like this. So strange. You're basically promoting the idea of people pirating these games because it's like, yeah, dog, we'll put it out there in the public consciousness, but then we're gonna literally pull your ability to buy it after a certain period of time. And while we're at it, we're gonna tactically nuke this fucking tournament for the dumbest reason due to emulation and modding.
They don't like our shitty decisions.
Classic fucking Nintendo maneuver.
God, Nintendo's such a weird company. Because yeah, they make good like business decisions are solid. You know, they got their core. They've managed to separate themselves from the Sony Xbox PC slap fights, where it's like, oh yeah, well, what are you getting
Multiple
between those two? You know, to go along with your Switch, and
Yeah, basically, it's like
But-
you gotta get the exclusivity of Nintendo.
yeah, and then every PR move is just so out of touch, retarded. And that's what it really smacks
really
of
is.
more than anything is out of touch. Like they have no idea
Yeah.
what they're doing and how to reach their audience.
You basically just took the words out of my mouth because I was going to say that it speaks to me of just like antiquated decision making. That's just, it's not in line with the modern video game industry, such as pulling a digital edition of a game like straight off the marketplace or doing things like this. It's just people who don't get it, you know. They're not with the times, so to speak, calling the shots at Nintendo. That's clearly what's going on.
Yeah.
So I look forward to the I don't know, the next thing Nintendo issues.
Nintendo's gonna finally release games on PC and they're gonna come on floppy disks.
You buy it on Steam, but they ship you a floppy disk.
Oh my fucking god! Please,
Full price as well.
please don't.
Yes, you
No,
can
it's
purchase Bayonetta 3 on Steam for the full $60. We'll mail you a floppy disk.
Please understand.
Please.
Next is Deadpool 3 scores the writers of Bob's Burgers.
It's
Which-
awesome. I love
Not
it.
dead. I literally fucking it was earlier this year, I think we recorded a podcast and I told you guys I'd just watched Deadpool 2. And then I Googled an article of a guy from Marvel or an ex comic book writer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, being like, yeah, it's dead. Like no one at Disney's even considering making Deadpool 3, and it's because of the rating and all that shit. And now here we are.
Dude,
It's got
it's
a writer credit.
I really think it's just Ryan Reynolds just making sure this shit just keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah, definitely. The actor's got a huge part in it.
I
He's-
really-
Ryan Reynolds is like, people love me as this character. I'm gonna be like the fucking Hugh Jackman of this character.
I
And he
really,
should be. I love him as Deadpool. He's perfect.
He's
really,
literally made for the role.
really, really want to see an interview with him and H. John Benjamin in a room, because I think that will be funny enough for me to literally die. Like, just not be able to breathe, wheezing. I will die. I fucking love H. John Benjamin. He's great.
Who the fuck is H. John Benjamin?
He's that guy with the he does Bob from Bob's Burgers. He does Archer.
Archer?
Archie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
I know,
Coach
yeah.
McGurk. He had a really funny trick shot video, and he did a series
yeah, I
where he
Googled
drove
this.
around in a van and almost got beat up like every episode.
Yes. I was trying to remember what I recognize him from, and I was like, I don't really watch Bob's Burgers or any of that shit, so I wouldn't recognize his voice probably.
Oh, God, a
But I recognize him, and you mentioned that, and I'm pretty sure that's where I've seen him.
I don't necessarily like Bob's Burgers. I've
Bob's
watched a bit
Burgers
of
is
it.
awesome.
I don't like it that much.
Listen, I've never
But,
seen an episode of Burgers in my life, but I'm excited about a Deadpool 3. So
I'm definitely excited for the next Deadpool. But I do know that the writers of Bob's Burgers did help write a few episodes of Archer, and I love Archer. So I am very hopeful and optimistic. So that is my
Deadpool 3
statement
has,
on
I hope it retains characters from Deadpool 2.
True.
That's about what I'll say. I hope the writing is fluid and they don't throw certain characters out. Like I would like to say, I'm assuming they wouldn't, because why would they?
Yeah.
But I would like to see people like Domino and shit come back, because I thought they
Yeah.
handled those characters extremely well
I love Dom.
in Deadpool. Every action scene with Domino in Deadpool 2 are probably my favorite scenes in that movie. I think they're extremely well done. So I'd very much like to see that character come back. So this is exciting. I'm excited about it.
Very.
Especially when we literally had news on this podcast of an article of a guy being like, it's dead in the water. And here we are like 6 months later.
It's
and they have
alive
a
in the
writer.
water.
Very exciting.
Hear the excitement in our voices.
Very exciting.
The next is
Alright. And I'm cooming.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Gives us
So-
I had,
cool physics.
If I had any concerns about the game's length before I read that article, which I did have, they've somewhat dissipated.
Basically, one dev
I'm hoping-
played over 175 hours of Cyberpunk, and he still hasn't beaten it. My counter to that is he could just be really bad at the game.
He could
Yeah.
be. I would prefer to think there's so much side content in the game that I too will be enveloped in it for 170 plus hours.
Or Brendo's
can-
saying he's going to be that bad at the game that he also will be invested that many hours.
I mean, we all know I'm a sick gamer, Rob, okay?
I always think of
I-
that one
I suck.
story I read about Half-Life 2 in development when there's a part where you're in the antlion cave and people complained that for an insect hive it was very linear, and then it came out it was like, yeah, we had a playtester that the path to the right would just loop you back around, and he was in there for like 3 hours, so we
Yeah.
took that out of the game. And whenever I see like an extreme length thing like this, I'm like, maybe that guy's always turning right,
That's fine. You're not wrong, okay? But I'd like to remain positive and think that he knows what's up and he's not trash at video games,
Well, even it
He's not, like-
implies
He's not that guy writing that PS5 review, You know, he
it's-
knows what he's doing. He's a gamer.
I
He
mean,
rises
not
up.
all reviewers are gamers. Like the guy who reviewed Cuphead couldn't get past the tutorial.
yeah,
True. This isn't a reviewer.
but this is
a
a dev. Yeah. So
And I hope he knows what he's doing. And I would like to think that I too will spend 175 hours on the game.
It-
That's my hope.
I mean,
That's a lot of hours.
yeah, it also implies in my version of the game where he's just turning right forever, he's having enough fun just turning right that he is willing to do it for 175 hours.
He keeps coming back
True.
to the NASCAR experience.
He keeps coming back to the same location because that's how right turning works.
But he loves it. It's a pretty location full of gameplay.
We turned out all he's doing is like fucking prostitutes for 175 hours.
It's actually very disturbed.
He's cooming. He's cooming with his custom genitals, just watching it fuck the
But
prostitutes.
no one knows, so they go and they're like, "Have you beat it yet?" And he's like drenched in sweat. He's like, "Nope, not yet.
This game
Maybe
is more
tomorrow."
interesting, boss.
I'm gonna need some more
And he's
hands-on
reporting-
time."
He's actually like doing QA and he's
Yeah,
like
he's-
reporting bugs, but specifically all of his bug reports are like only in strip clubs and like prostitute spawns.
He's doing
and shit,
nothing.
and
He's
everyone's
doing
like, "What the
nothing
fuck
but
is that?"
collision detection.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Female model collision detection. That's my job.
The song name.
Model collision detection.
Oh, fuck.
Nice.
Oh man.
Oh, fucking A. Anyway, I'm excited. I hope the game is truly long, not because this guy's bad, but just because it's long, because I want to fucking play it for a long time. And every waking minute of my life is just a bust to get me to fucking December 10th.
The
I can't find my phone to write down that song name. I'm actually walking around my room right now trying to
I
figure
could
out where I
type
put
it
my
to
phone.
you real quick.
Someone
That's
type
true,
it
I
in
could do
chat
that.
here.
I don't remember what it was. It's okay. I have this on
I
recording.
did it.
We can fix
We got
things.
the recording too.
All right.
Model collision detection. There we go.
So the next news story, probably the most important news story, is Monster Hunter World is getting tie-in content with the movie. So you too
Oh.
will be able to play as Mila Jockstrap. And do you think that there'll be a Palico costume to turn it into Tony Jaa? Like, is that what they're doing?
I hope
What's-
so.
I do not know.
Have you seen the have you looked at Iceborne in your Steam library recently?
No, I have not.
Okay. So they posted this as a news like update story in on Steam. And if you click on it, it's just heaping shitloads of people commenting on it, being like, we don't want this and the movie looks bad. That's like all comments on the fucking post.
Love it.
Makes sense.
I can't wait. I'm totally gonna do this, by the way. Cyberpunk is not out yet by the time this event starts in Iceborne, so I will be turning on Iceborne to get my Mila Jovovich costume. And if I'm
Understandable.
ever playing Iceborne with you, Anthony, I will exclusively use only that. So you'll have to look at Mila Jovovich at all times.
Just think of the
I will force you.
hunter cards with Mila Jovovich. All those
I will save
funny
my-
poses.
Yes. It will be the only way you see me. As Mila Jovovich.
Forevermore.
God damn.
And then our
Well-
last bit of news is for Richie to go ham because Total War DLC.
No, hang on. Me and Anthony are gonna fall asleep right now.
Oh, well, I mean, I barely talked, hand on dick, remember?
Yeah.
But,
Is,
uh,
is the hand
now it's off. Now
Yeah,
it's
hands
off.
off.
And my fists are clenched, and really, it's just me talking about shit with Brandon that we've already discussed.
Actually
That's
shocked
starting to
that you
take
didn't
off.
voice discontent at no Dino Crisis in the Capcom leak. I thought I would hear you talk about that.
I mean, yeah, it's sad just to bring it back because I didn't say anything, but we don't know if this is even like true. So who knows?
And also, this isn't for like ever. I think it's the next 4 years. I don't know, maybe year 5, Dino Crisis. Yeah.
You know, we're all, we all, not Rob, but we're all in our 30s and shit. And maybe they'll give us Dino Crisis.
Maybe one day.
That's to our fucking viewers. I'm sorry. Our 5 viewers.
They're aware we're old. We say dumb shit.
We have made references to feeling old before.
I mean, I say
Anyway.
dumb shit and I ain't old.
Fair.
All right, whatever, youngin. All right,
This whippersnapper.
shut up, baby.
Uh,
I'll die before you. Okay, and I don't want to be reminded of that.
Hey, you don't
Hey,
know that.
yeah, that's a very bold assumption.
I mean, we'll have natural causes most likely.
Most likely.
Not taking into account things like jumping out my window after like a bad game of Dota or something like that. If we're strictly speaking natural causes, I'm more likely to go first.
There you go.
The window, though, beckons me on a semi consistent basis. Anyway, Warhammer
Every
DLC.
battle pass, he gets closer and closer to the window.
Yeah, if you can see my chair, it starts to inch closer and closer to the window, and my view of my TV more slanted and at an angle.
But I believe last week we recorded on the eve of the DLC, right? Or am I a week behind?
I think we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we didn't know what it was. Hey, it got revealed in that week. It is Wood Elves versus Skaven. Sisters of Twilight and Throat the Unclean. I dig it. I like the units. I like the lords. This community is shit because it's dude. Since all right, so when did they release the Wood Elf DLC news? Was like what 4 months ago or something?
Uh-huh.
They said it's gonna be Wood Elves and a core Game 2 race. And then as soon as this got released, discussion boards and Reddit blew up about how it wasn't Beastmen or Bretonnia or Norska. And it's like, dude, they literally told us 4 months ago what it was gonna be.
Well, okay. In their defense, some people are just ignorant
Stupid.
of those updates and news posts, so they don't. Well, okay, hold on. We can't just blanket statements say they're stupid. Maybe they just missed it. Like they didn't see CA say that it was going to be Wood Elves. You know, they follow the news passingly, and then they're like,
You're saying,
it's
like,
not
they didn't
Norska or
read.
whatever.
They didn't read the DLC announcement. They just knew it was going to be Wood Elves, and then hey, look, a Wood Elf DLC. I wonder who they're fighting. I guess, but I digress to that point. But the DLC is itself some cool new units. I really dig them. The faction mechanics have started to get leaked out, and like lord effects and faction effects. Have you seen the Throat campaign stuff? It's been coming out today.
Today? No.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's,
watched
I thought you said thought campaign. Continue.
trust me.
Close.
People were very sad that this DLC wasn't called Throat and the Thoughts.
Yeah, that should have been it.
Yeah, it would have been a good one.
But to people that don't follow this, Rob and Anthony and anyone who listens to us, so Throat the Unclean is leader of Clan Mulder. So it's all the fleshy Skaven monster stuff.
I know a bit of fantasy lore. I just don't like the game that much or play it that much. I'm just
Wow.
bad at it.
Wow, well, you know,
Just get
maybe if you
good.
get good at it, you'll dislike it less.
That's like Anthony's stance on it. Just play the fucking
Dude,
play it. It's good.
I played Shogun and Rome, and I sucked at them. And I literally was like, man, I can't play a Total War game. I don't like it. For Warhammer, I sat and I played it. I'm like, I love this game. and I gotta get good at it. And hey, I got good at it, and I like it more.
Like you had to specify that. I like it
More.
more.
Yeah, well, like, you know, I'm decent, you know, but
Yeah.
So his faction mechanics and stuff got shown more today, and I'll admit, like, it got shown today. I worked a lot today. I haven't like watched the full videos, but he has access to a flesh laboratory, which is very cool. Like, you win battles, you do quests, and you get, I quote, growth juice.
Ooh.
And you use growth juice to get
Enlarge my penis.
mutations, which you can bring units you have in your army into there and then augment them with this mutations. The mutations are pretty awesome. Like, some of I don't think I haven't seen any that scroll over like the top tier ones, but like some of them are like, give your infantry like stalk and vanguard, regeneration, frenzy, very cool stuff. And what's neat is you could apply multiple augmentations onto a unit, but eventually, depending on the augmentations you put on, they cost like points. Your unit will become unstable because you can't just keep mutating a poor rat before it just melts. And you can use them, but like I think there's like horrible debilitating negatives if you use them. They keep their strengths though, so like they're very usable, but you can recycle them to get more growth juice.
Wow, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it's actually very awesome.
Implications of that is
It's very
great.
awesome. It's very cool.
That's the gaming for you.
I also think there's you as you get growth juice as well, there's like a bar, and when you fill up the bar, you get like certain like pseudo regiment of renown units. You know how like lizardmen have the blessed spawnings, and tomb kings have like those green like regiment of renown units that aren't regiments of renown. I don't know if you knew that, Brandon. Yeah, so you know how like
repeat that?
Skaven get like not Skaven, lizardmen get the blessed spawnings, and like tomb kings can get those units that have like the, you know how like regiments renown are like purple, but like they're green. Yeah, the scryer has like the green unique units. Yeah. When you fill up your growth juice bar, you get like those type units too.
That's cool. Anything that came out today, I didn't know because I didn't look at any of it.
Yeah, so his faction looks very cool. The start in Hell Pit is really neat. I don't think I heard anyone say anything about the Chaos Invasion. So what we were talking about last night, it could be rough.
I mean, the first time I play, I'm gonna put the Chaos Invasion difficulty on Legendary because I want to know what that means, and I want to experience that. I imagine Throt is going to have a very difficult time the second Chaos happens, especially if you're on a higher difficulty. Like, he literally, he's like the first point of contact. Like, that's going to be rough to not get buff fucked immediately. Especially if you've been having major success and you've like fucked up the Empire substantially, so it's just like you up there to meet that instantaneously. That's not easy.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm very surprised. I mean, I guess things could change, but I'm very surprised Skaven don't have like an align with Chaos option like Norska does.
I was reading, or I was watching like a lore video about Throt and the ogre, the named ogre guy,
Orich.
and like he has a backstory that involves Archaon. So I find it strange that they wouldn't include something like that. It would make more sense, seeing as how he starts so close to the invasion, that like they would build something in like that for him. But I guess they didn't. So that's gonna be rough.
I just like that there's a Skaven start in an area that Skaven would never ever be prior to this DLC.
Well, that's also part of my complaint with like, so like when this DLC comes out, I want to play a campaign as the sisters, but like Drycha's start is so much more interesting to me because I feel like that spot is so much more interesting. Like anytime there's a new faction that gets added and they start anywhere remotely close to that spot, I really like it because there's just so much shit there. You know, like you get to fuck with the Empire, you get to fuck with the vampire counts. The dwarves are like a realistic possibility at some point for you to have to deal with. Like it's a way more interesting start, and then you have the difficulty of like chaos showing up relatively close to that position. So like I find that to be a way more interesting location than where the sisters unfortunately got planted, which is over in fucking Nagaron, stuck with dark elves up to their tits for 75 turns if they don't teleport.
Do you think that
somewhere
just
else.
like taking the hearthlands or heathlands, whatever they are, and then like using your new deep
And then just
root
leaving?
teleportation?
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yeah.
plausible. I could see that being the case, but it's just I don't know. It's a less interesting start than Drycha's because I think fighting Empire and VC and shit is a little more interesting than just being surrounded by dark elves. Though to the sisters' start credit, they do have the Tomb King guy to their north, not too far away, but he doesn't usually last that long in any of my games. So but the DLC is cool. I don't have too much more to say about it, honestly, other than it's cool. My only complaint is like Coadil kind of got the shaft with his model, but like I also explained to you off the podcast that wasn't surprising to me because I saw that coming, that they wouldn't spend that much time and effort on like a relatively minor addition.
I hear that like some people are like complaining that Drycha doesn't have unique like units and they really wanted that, and then just like I'm sitting here like, dude, it's a free LC. What did you expect? You're getting this bitch for free, kind of.
You know what I think the most interesting thing is about this DLC, before we get off this, is so the Wood Elf stuff is cool. I'm happy with it. I'm sure you are too. It's very neat.
Well, to say too, just real quick, because I just talked about Throt. I don't really like the sisters mechanic, like with the Date Forge. I think it's 50 Shades of okay.
It's nowhere near as interesting.
Yeah, it's
as like Throt.
It's the sisters themselves very cool, and I like them a lot.
I like them a lot too. I like them more than, in terms of playing as them in a campaign, I like them more than Drycha, but I like Drycha's start more. I feel like Drycha got a way more interesting start, not to repeat myself, but the sisters are neat. And the units are cool. I'm happy with all the units, even though Zotes are kind of lazy as well, because they're just like, it's cool that Zotes are a thing, but they're just Dragon Ogres reskinned. So like that's kind of but it's neat that they reached for that, I guess, as a unit.
I still think they look very out of place, even with their cool Ninja Turtle fucking look.
Yeah, they don't really fit the roster,
but
that much.
They fill they fill a meta spot that needed to be filled. Wood Elves needed a magic damage anti-large unit with mass.
Yeah, I mean, for multiplayer purposes, sure. But like, I find the fact that they're like a Dragon Ogre reskin to be a little unfortunate.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people appear to feel like that too.
I don't necessarily feel like Blade Singers were necessary.
I think they're cool. I didn't mind that. I feel like they're kind of neat.
I didn't think they needed an anti-infantry armor piercing unit. Like, why can't they just make Wildwood Rangers good? Like, And then Great Stag Knights are fantastic. I love them. Was not expecting that, to be honest. I was expecting the Great Stag, but not a unit of Monstrous Cav. Monstrous Cav with 90 speed, mind you.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're fast. Though apparently, one of the YouTubers,
Your Turber.
Zerkovich did
YouTuber.
like unit testing with them, and they are absolutely fantastic against like infantry. They suffer against like other cav, like they don't do as well. Like I'm pretty sure they lost the Chaos Knights, like with
Are you telling me that Blood Knights would beat them in a fight due to their anti-large and their stats?
It's very possible, but this is in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Because like I was watching a lot of people are doing like multiplayer battles and shit, and they're like, you take these dudes and you take a unit of Zotes to back them up, and then they just like bound cast Flesh to Stone, and now they're sitting at like 120 armor as opposed to 60. And now they trade very good into non-armor piercing cavalry.
Right. But now we're taking magic bullshit into account.
Yeah,
which the
and
other
that's another
person
thing
would
too.
have
Now
to-
that like Zotes are here, what elves I think have like the most bound spells of any roster? Like they don't need casters to have bound spells. Like God, like they have Zotes that have 2 bound spells, Sisters of the Thorn that have bound spells. I feel like there's other stuff I'm forgetting.
Anyway, can we talk about the really kind of interesting part about this?
Yeah.
Which is that I'm very happy Wood Elves got stuff. I've expressed, especially to you,
No Amber. No
that
Amber's huge.
I'm actually excited to play a Wood Elf campaign because Amber sucked my ass and the
World
campaign,
map teleportation, which
World map
some people
teleportation.
say is going to tie into what demons do.
Demons, yes, it's potentially planning and testing for what demons may get in the future, which is cool. I think the map additions are very telling and interesting, specifically that little strip to the east on the other side of the mountains. Because you've got a faction that's clearly supposed to be Neferata's faction sitting in a city over there on the other side of the mountains. And that's really fucking cool. And that gets me hopeful that if there's another DLC between this and Game 3, that it's not dwarves and dark elves, that it's like vampire counts and dark elves. That would be really dope. That probably won't be the case, but I hope that it is.
The
I would
map
like
changes. This is how I feel about the map changes. I think it's very possible Neferata is in the game in some way, shape, or form, but I don't know because like you
it's
just
such a direct reference though, like to put
This
the
is-
silver
all right,
pinnacle
this is
over
what I
there.
think.
Like
I think it's going to be Dark Elves. Dark Elves are going to be in the game, in the DLC in some way,
Oh,
shape,
yeah.
or form.
We
Because
all
they
know
have
that.
to, because it's a Game 2 race. They have to tie a Game 2 race to DLC. They have to.
yes, so we all know it's going to be that. Because
It's
they
just,
have a
what is that
legendary lord that
second
they still
faction
need.
going to be? Is it going to be dwarves? Is it going to be beastmen? Or is it going to be vampire counts?
It's so fucked because I know that Beastmen need a rework really bad. Arguably, they needed it way worse than Wood Elves did, and they didn't even get it before they did. And there's a lot of people who are mad about that, understandably. And it's like, I get it. Beastmen probably should be the second half of a hypothetical next DLC. But fuck, I'm selfish, and I just want it to be like Neferata and some cool new units, like because now we're bridging that fucking interesting gap of bringing shit that's like almost end timesy with that new Rat Ogre who's very close to a Storm Fiend. So like, what if we could get some of that dank shit in the Vampire Counts roster that they got in like end times, like those dudes with the names I currently can't remember who were basically like giant skeleton fuck tanks that could fly. That shit would be so dope.
All right, listen.
And having Neferata as
will-
legendary
I
lord would be
would-
sick.
I would go right up to the CEO of fucking CA, and I would slob on his knob if he would just put more gas, the flying skeleton dudes, and storm fiends into the game, and vermin lords.
Right, but they're gonna
Like-
save that for game 3.
I know they're
But-
gonna say that for
but-
game 3,
But
but
I can
I re-
dream, and I can hope that the next DLC is VC and Dark Elves, and not fucking dwarves and Dark Elves.
I feel like I've heard that Creative Assembly, like directors and all that shit, have said that they want all Game 1 factions on the Vortex map.
Immortal Empires. Oh, on the Vortex.
No, on the
map?
Vortex
Yeah.
Um,
I misunderstood what you said. So I mean,
it's rough because like it's
Empire counts aren't there, but
do
neither
they
are
save-
dwarves and neither are beastmen. So
do they save Beastmen for Game 3 and the Chaos update?
can I pitch something to you really quick? I thought about this the other day. I know Anthony and Rob want to like jump out their windows because we're just talking about Warhammer 2, but I thought about this the
Oh,
other day.
I'm sorry,
Are you ready?
masturbating.
Are you ready?
I'm looking at
Good,
armor.
keep masturbating. Are you ready? Think about this. Huge curveball, right? Next DLC isn't Dark Elves aren't even part of the paid portion. They get a legendary lord as free DLC, and the meat of the paid DLC is just Vampire Counts Dwarves. What if they did that? Then you balance out the legendary
Listen,
lords for
I
Dark
thought
Elves.
of that, but
but-
the problem is like I don't think they can like as a business justify we're giving you the lord here for free from the second game, but now you're buying game 1 I don't know, maybe,
Well,
but
I mean, why not? They're making people do that kind of already just as half of a DLC, and instead they go, hey, if you only own game 2, now you can play VC and dwarves in Vortex. Right? Like and if you own the first game, it's still not that bad because you're just getting additions and campaign reworks. Like it's
I'll be
not-
honest with you. And this what about this curveball?
Okay.
It's
I'm ready to catch it
let's say
with
it's
my mouth.
Dark Elves versus Dwarves, or Dark Elves versus Beastmen. But let's say Dark Elves versus Dwarves, and then Game 3 pre-order DLC is Nagash.
Yeah,
There
I've
you
heard
go.
people say that, but that's like
Super unlikely.
ooh,
What
yeah.
if it's Game 3 DLC Neferata?
I mean, that's more likely than Nagash. The thing is, I want like they're obviously. I mean, even if it was a pre-order bonus, they would still do this. But like, it has to be more than just her. Like, there's got to be units and shit. Maybe some like campaign mechanic touch-ups and reworks and stuff. Even though technically Vampire Counts already got a campaign rework earlier in Game 2's lifespan.
They
But-
need some touch-ups, though. Same with Dwarves. They
I
need
just
a
like-
touch-up.
And I'm not even like as big of a Vampire Counts fan as I used to be. I still like them, but it's like you look at them, like I look at their roster and I'm like, it's just not as interesting as like anyone else's roster. Like it just feels like it's lacking something and I can't explain it. Like their unit roster isn't that exciting. Like they don't have any of those cool like big centerpiece things that a lot of other units have. It just doesn't feel like they're as fleshed out or interesting to me as like most of the other races in the game at this point, aside from like maybe dwarves. So like I really
Beastmen.
want and Beastmen, but
Chaos.
that's not, that goes without saying though. We can't like Beastmen are just fucked in every way, shape, and form. But like I would really love a Vampire Counts DLC just to kind of like round them out a little bit, put some cool shit in.
Like, what would they get? The only thing I can think of off the top of my head that they're actually missing are like Coven Thrones.
They get like unique shit. I
Spirit
mean,
Host.
but like CA's been giving people shit that nobody expected. Like fucking Wood Elves just got Zotes. Like
Yeah,
like come up
true.
with some shit for Vampire Counts. You know what I mean? Like they can totally do that. It doesn't have to
I
be
just
something that
want-
was.
I just
Access.
want them to actually like, and I know they're saving it for Game 3, but like commit to end times units. I want Storm Fiends, which
Yeah,
I think
that's
is
gonna be-
basically confirmed at this point because Gorich is just a fucking Storm Fiend.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Game
Game 3 will be where we start to get.
you
time.
want vampire units? Give us Morghast. I think Morghasts are fucking awesome.
Morghast one of my favorite models that ever came out from that end time shit. I think they're really sick looking, and it would be a really neat addition.
I don't think they're gonna add Morghast without adding Nagash though, because they're kind of like his thing.
Yeah, assuming that they do add Nagash at some point. But anyway,
I think it's inevitable. He's too popular. I think people will pay.
it's gotta be game 3 though, because it has
It's
to be.
definitely going to be game 3.
It has to be like a herder. Our campaign is now end times situation where you start putting in more and more end time stuff, because you can't just throw Nagash into the game the way it is now, because there's like nothing else there that's like remotely end timesy. You know what I mean?
I honestly, and this is one of the benefits of the game taking long. I know that sounds weird because it sucks that it's taken so long. I think 3. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm being optimistic to the max. I think game 3 is going to blow us away. I think we're going to get reworks to hordes, reworks to sieges. I think we're going to get literally all kinds of crazy greater demons. I think Kislev's going to be a thing with Bear Cav. I really think it's going to be awesome, and I'm really.
I was like, it's funny you say this, because I think I was like naked in my shower the other day. I was taking a shower and I was just thinking about shit, like random shit, as I tend to do when I'm doing that. And I was like, I bet game 3, because it's taking so long, it's just gonna have like all kinds of shit. Like, I'm assuming it's just gonna have everything I'm generally expecting. Like they're gonna rework sieges, because everyone's been bitching about that forever. They're gonna rework hordes, like pretty much everything you just said. And I hope that's the fucking case. Because God damn it.
I'm sorry, and this is probably what I was saying too. And I think we're gonna see a more end timesy Mortal Empires map, especially when demons drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Just round out the fucking vampire counts roster and fix Beastmen. And ignore dwarves. No one gives a fuck.
Dude, it's not true.
I know, but I can dream.
I think dwarves. I mean, if dwarves do get some form of DLC, it's gonna be calling it a what is it, runesmith like hero, like that guy, and then they're gonna get like golems and shit, like rune golems, and maybe even like thunder barges or some shit. Now, some people say they really want Joseph Bugman, which might be a white dwarf DLC lord. People are speculating that too, because all the characters that have come from that have been dwarves. You got the white dwarf, you got Gotrek, and now people are saying, give us Joseph Bugman.
Maybe. I'm just not. I don't have a lot of excitement in my soul for dwarf content, but I know there are people out there who do. But I'm not a dwarf guy. They're probably my least favorite. So
bringing it back though to the current DLC. I know you don't watch as much content as I do, but how do you feel about them saying that they like completely nerfed the Wood Elf campaign?
What do you mean completely nerfed?
Like they made it harder.
Oh.
They made them worse on the campaign map.
Well, I mean,
that's the criticism going around right now, because like one YouTuber who's known to do cheesy shit and she's a campaign said it.
Why are you talking about like Legend of Total War or something like that? Okay. Well, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I kind of explained to you that like I'm not really gonna have an opinion until I play it. I can understand. I think the only reason why anybody's saying that it's more difficult now is because Wood Elves were kind of fucked up before, in the sense that like you could win a Wood Elf campaign doing very little. Like they took the isolationist aspect of Wood Elves to the fucking extreme, because you could do a little bit, you could fight some battles here or there, and you could just wait until like someone snowballed like the dwarves or whatever, and you just make a military alliance and you get a shitload of amber, and then you go out and you find whatever else you need, and then you just win. And it's like, maybe that was easier and they were stronger before, but that's not as fun. You know, like if it's more difficult but it's more engaging, then I'm all for it. In fact, I would prefer it to be more difficult if it means I'm having more fun playing it. Like, who gives a fuck about them quote unquote nerfing it? If it's more active, then to me that's a win.
Are you
I
too
agree.
good?
I agree. It's really cool. You guys should play more Total War.
You should.
All right, I think that's
Campaign it on baby shit difficulty, and you'll figure it out.
Like, I've said this before. I will teach you, and then we could play sick campaigns together.
Baby shit difficulty.
I'm good.
I have literally 1, 2, 3, 4,
And Anthony's not playing games at all
Like,
right now.
5. I have.
Shit.
Hold on, wait a second. It's Brandon, Rob, it's Anthony. Sean has this game. Yeah, I have 3 friends and a brother that have this game, and I can't get a single one of them to sit down and play a fucking campaign with me.
That's like I told you.
I know your reasons, but I
Anthony
still
looks in body armor. He
complain
doesn't
about
play
that.
video games. He's not even playing. He's seen me playing Monster Hunter every day. He's not like, hey man, I'm gonna play Monster Hunter with you. It's like, all right. He's looking at body armor.
I played a campaign with Sean. You want to know how
Rob
that
doesn't
went?
like it.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
All right, this is what happened. Sean was playing dwarves. He was playing like
Don't we-
Thorgrim.
Don't we all own Monster Hunter?
I
Yeah.
play Monster Hunter. I'm just
They don't
shit
play
at
Monster
it.
Hunter either.
I'm not good at it. You never asked me to play Monster Hunter. I play Monster Hunter.
You fucking
Rob-
play Monster Hunter. I mean, I'm on the
Well,
ice.
I don't get how your game, your rig can't handle Baldur's Gate 3, but you expect to play Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter is a little
Oh.
intense.
It is a little intense. I didn't say I play it
On the
well.
rig.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm probably waiting for. That's one of the reasons I stopped playing. It was shitting all over my computer, and I've been
It does show on my
Yeah,
computer, but I still enjoy it.
and
But this
I
is what
was
happened.
putting away money to get a new one, and then instead I got into guns.
Yeah, that's a good thing to get into though.
Eh,
Um,
And in some people's opinions.
yeah, Sean was playing dwarves, and I played Imric, and I was rocking. And Sean couldn't leave his like starter province because Grimgore just kept fucking his mouth.
All right. I
Okay.
believe that's
And then,
all we-
Are you implying that you dislike playing co-op campaigns with your friends when they're bad at the game?
Oh no! I was saying
Yeah,
that's what
Carter,
happened, and then
Rob.
because of that, he didn't want to like pick it up, and we never played it again.
Okay.
I believe that's it. We got anything
But if-
else to talk about?
he's trying so hard.
honestly surprises me, Rob, because your lizard boys are in there.
That won't
He
play
left.
well for the audio of the podcast, but
I said it honestly surprises me, Rob, because your lizard boys are in there.
why
Rob,
didn't you just like
Yep.
start a new campaign?
huh?
I said, why didn't I can understand Sean like not wanting to continue that one because it's not fun to watch one person play, and then you got so fucked that you're not really playing, so you're kind of just hitting end turn so that the other person can play the
Honestly,
campaign.
I don't know.
Why didn't you guys just restart? Or
I don't
something?
know. Honestly, we
Okay.
probably just got so busy between the two of us, and I think we just forgot. But you're not escaping that question, Rob. Your lizard boys are in it. Why
I
don't
know
you
my
want to
lizard
pick that
boys.
up? They're calling to you. They're saying, "Play me, you scaly fuck."
Listen, Rob, he's desperate. He needs someone to play a campaign with him. Help him out. Hook him up. Silence.
You guys,
And
you boys ready?
that's the episode.
Bye, guys.
That's Rob
I am-
ignored my question. and just
My
starts to end the
disappointment is
podcast.
immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Bye.